Brewers in Tampa to take on the Rays, Cubs and Mets in New York, Guardians and Phillies in Cleveland, Royals playing host to the Red Sox, and the White Sox hosting the Marlins. Astros and Reds get together in Houston. Meanwhile, in the NFL, Cleveland Browns reunion with free agent running back Nick Chubb is, quote, increasingly unlikely, according to GM Andrew Berry, after the team added 2 running backs in the NFL draft. Chubb, who ranks 3rd on the Browns' career rushing list, remains unsigned after spending the first 7 years of his career in Cleveland.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Friday to everybody out there on a beautiful day for baseball. We are live at Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park. Game 1 of the Mariners series against the Toronto Blue Jays, who are in town. We got much to discuss. We'll speak with Sportsnet Blue Jays reporter Ben Nicholson-Smith. He'll join us at 3:30. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer will join us at 4 p.m. You don't want to miss that. And then we'll catch up with a Mariners player of some sort at some point. Not sure who or when, but we'll see who ends up coming out here with us. A beautiful day for baseball. Beautiful day to watch your first-place Seattle Mariners work their magic. It's good that they're back in business because last night was kind of boring, Dave. Just kind of boring.
I actually told my wife that I had a game to watch because I didn't want to watch what she was watching on TV.
Did she think the Mariners were playing?
Yeah, as far as she knows. They played last night.
Did you come running out of the room? They won! Cal Raleigh, walk-off home run. Demo on base. It was a dream come true for me.
She's watching one of those series that Matt would recommend.
Oh, wow. Matt's getting it before the show.
Oh, that was mature.
He's getting it before the show. He's getting it right out of the gates. I don't know what Matt did to everybody, but Brady's on him. Dave's on him. I'm on your side, Matt. So there we go. All right. Well, I hope she enjoyed her show, and I'm glad the Mariners won again last night. That's cool. That's pretty cool. But the Mariners, the story with this team so far has been the surprise of the offense because it's not what any of us expected, and we've talked about the reasons. Is it health? Is it new coaching, new philosophy? Edgar and Kevin Seitzer really just simplifying the message. And I think it's a little bit of everything. But Adnan Virk of MLB Network was on with Bump and Stacy, and he explains why he points to the coaching as one of the bigger reasons the Mariners have improved.
When you make a coaching change and you make different moves in terms of philosophy, things really can work out. And that's what I think is the lesson here is that it isn't necessarily the roster. It's about the approach that they've been given. And since the Mariners replaced Scott Service with Dan Wilson, brought in Edgar Martinez, and this year's heading coach, Kevin Seitzer, Seattle's offense has been completely revitalized, Michael. Dating back to August 23rd of last season. That's the first under Wilson. Seattle's now 5th in the majors in OPS at 759 and runs per game at 5.1. Their 10.9% walk rate is best in Major League Baseball over that stretch. So clearly they've realized be much more patient. Don't just be a free swinger. Don't just try to hit home runs. Make the ballpark work for you. You know, you can't hit home runs there. I get it. So look for singles and doubles and triples and use your speed. And really they bought into the philosophy. They've been a great story and a big reason why they're first place in the West.
Do you think he had those numbers memorized, or was he had them written down on a notepad?
I don't know. I think he might be a Lefko, just a computer brain that's just spitting out numbers right and left.
Is he also never wrong?
Well,
you can never be wrong if you never admit to being wrong.
That's I guess
there
so.
You go.
As long as you believe it, it's always true. Just
oh
saying.
Man, how do I live 61 years and I've never heard that quote? Man, that's fantastic. I'm gonna actually.
Yeah, Lefko original.
Mike.
That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going third person now.
Third person now.
Good Lord. It's going to be a long day.
No, you know, it's interesting. We made this comparison yesterday about, you know, we talked a lot about making offensive linemen better with the kind of, and quarterbacks too, and really everybody, but as far as running a certain kind of offense and just how you install that offense, how you explain it. it's pretty similar to, what these guys are getting. And this is a much more of an individual sport, right? Where, you work together, but I mean, for the most part, especially the pitchers and catchers, but for the most part, it's about individual performances and getting in, the right message to those single players. Whereas, in football, and we hope that that's what it's going to be the case with the coaching, that this is just going to make the guys that they have better as far as the offensive scheme that they run. I can tell you this, I'm starting to hear more and more stories. Look, he's a nice guy. I love talking to Ryan Grubb, but there was a lot of people that did not like his coaching style. And, the things that he was asking them to do. So
I think DK was one of those guys.
Yeah, DK directly yelled at him. And then, there were some other pieces in that offense that weren't happy about that. So, and I remember that on defense being on the field. I remember Terry Taylor. He was one of our corners, and we were getting beat. It was in Kansas City, and we kept running the same defense over and over again, and he was like, cover 2 again, and I'm like, Terry, I'm just here to call, man. I'm here to make the call. But yeah, that happens also in football as far as the kind of stuff that you're running. But this is more about, in baseball, it's more about grinding down, like, what makes this guy tick, and what can I say to him to make it easier for him at the plate. And that's, looks like that's what's being done, because it could also be the fact that, players get better each year. Not all of them, but, these guys have gotten better. So, yeah, I mean, Cal's been more consistent, and I think this is kind of here in Seattle the year of the coach.
Yeah, it's so far it's hard to argue with it. I do think it's a bit of everything. Health, simplifying the message, just different vibe around the team, what have you. And in turn, what that does creates just a level of confidence and belief. And Dan Wilson in the postgame after Wednesday's game talked about the group, in totality, having a lot of belief in what they can do.
I don't know if the approach is that much different. I think maybe the confidence is there right now. I think this team knows, today I don't think anybody counted us out at 5-0. And everybody in that dugout knew that it was just going to be a matter of time before we got to somebody, and able to get to the starter late and then get on their bullpen at the time that we did. So these guys just don't have any quit in them, and that's what we're really seeing.
I like how Dan's always cranking his music in the background. He loves that stuff. But yeah, I mean, that seems an obvious, upside to what they've been doing. Being able to battle back, and the side effect, the positive side effect, is just this level of belief that okay, we're down. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We've been here many times, and we're coming out on top more often than not. So here we go.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad that we're talking about coaching and good coaching and Dan Wilson and everything, because what was it, Monday night, or what was the night of the first game, and was it Tuesday?
Against the A's. Yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, and, he was kind of under the gun a little bit. People were second-guessing him, and now all of a sudden, winning cures all evils, right? But, I mean, I'm happy for him that kind of a little bounce back, and now we're talking about all the great coaching and just the message and everything that's allowing his players to be their best.
Do you see a similarity or sort of a cross connection when we look at the Seahawks offense this season? And I know it's hard for you to talk football, David, when we're talking baseball, but let's try.
I'll try to compare baseball to football. Yeah.
Because, look, I mean, it's about a level of belief in the players that you have, but it's about the message and how it's delivered, and how coaches can put their players in the best position to succeed. Schlereth is the king of talking about, look, you knew I didn't do this well or that well, yet you asked me to do it. So it's your problem, dumbass.
Right.
Like he likes to say. Like, the reason it didn't work is because you knowingly put somebody in this position that that's not their strength. Instead of accentuating their strengths, you try to accentuate their weaknesses.
Well, and I love the story, speaking of Mark Schlereth, that if the guys didn't like a play, they would screw it up in practice. Yeah. So the offensive coordinator would pitch it out. But
yeah, Graz used to tell me that about marriage. Anything he didn't want to do, he would screw it up, so his wife would just go, all right, get out of the way, I'll do it.
Laundry.
Laundry, dishes. You could screw up the unloading of the dishwasher, Dave. You could have done that a long time ago. Put all those silverware in the wrong areas.
I've broken lots of things. Does that count?
I don't know. Apparently, Shannon's got a lot of tolerance. So.
Well, and look, I know how to do laundry. I can throw my own stuff in there. And by the way, I check pockets. This is a controversy at the house here.
Yeah.
Do you check pockets before you put it in the hamper, or do you check it before you put it in the washing machine? I was a bachelor for a long time. I did loads of laundry, and I always check the pockets before I put it in the washer.
Yeah, I'm about 50-50 on that. I've washed a lot of chapstick tubes.
Yeah.
A lot of
things.
A lot of coins, a lot of chapstick has been washed in my machine. So,
well, Shannon likes to chew tobacco, so sometimes she leaves stuff in there.
It's weird to see her with that big bulge in her lip.
All right, it's me. Yeah, those get washed. It's not good. It's not good. But yeah,
I didn't even consider that. That's got to be a mess.
Yeah, but you can screw that up. But no, getting back to our topic, really, the interesting thing, I think, baseball players, I think, can individual, like if you're talking about hitting, you can all of a sudden run into a snag and like, I can't get out of this funk. And you've seen guys do that before. And, I feel like in the NFL, it's not that as much. Like I said, for me anyway, at least my experience was later on, I was okay with a coach telling me something that I didn't like. Right. Because I could just translate it in my brain to like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm trying not to listen to what he's saying, and I can adapt and make up for it. And I'm not going to go and complain and say, hey, can you change this because it's bothered me? No, I changed it, and it was no problem. But I feel like in baseball, a lot of times you'll see a veteran get into some kind of a funk where, look at JP. J.P. Crawford, a guy that is kind of up and down a little bit, and I feel like he's one of those guys that probably most benefits from that message.
Yeah, that and being healthy. I think to his credit, he's got JP's an underrated tough guy. Like he played through a lot of things last year that we didn't even know about until the season was done.
Yeah,
and how much got dinged up? Obviously, he missed some time and things like that. But how much it was truly impacting him and some of the other things he was dealing with, you didn't hear about until after the season.
Yeah, I admire that so much. And that's the thing in baseball that it's like you just grind through it, man. And a lot of times, remember D. Gordon? We had him out here one time, and I remember he had an off year the year before, and he's like, my foot was on fire the entire season. And I didn't even know that. I never heard anything about his foot. So, yeah, I mean, having to play through, these guys are tough guys.
But just in terms of looking at the connection between the two, John Schneider back on April 10th during one of the episodes of the John Schneider Show talked about new coaches and the optimism that they can help what is a struggling O-line.
The history they've had, especially together, and watching what they did last year with the group in New Orleans, they were completely decimated on the offensive line, and they still were in games. Like they were doing a nice job. They were still running the ball. It is a scheme. They talk about steps. I get it when people are talking about it, but there's the schematics of it. I'm sure, like when you guys talk to Mark, like I've heard you guys on the radio with him before. He's talking about the intricacies of your steps, your hands, your angles. Like also you're off balance. How am I getting to what your targets are to the second level? Like what you're trying to accomplish. So all those things are like extremely important, and the individual teaching. Like,
by the way, you heard it right there. He listens to our show.
Yeah,
when he's not on, he's a big fan.
Thing.
John Schneider, he's a P1.
That's where he gets lots of his information.
Yeah, well, it's where he's really learned football. I think it's from
he learned ball.
Yeah, this is where he became to knowing ball.
Well, but it's interesting about much more. And for John, I mean, he's obviously on the scouting side and, not so much the coaching side, but he can tell the difference, when you see a message like, why is this guy playing poorly? And, and a lot of times if you go to the players, and I don't know, nobody's very outspoken about that. I just heard, that there was one guy that just, well, there was a couple, but one of them was an offensive lineman. And he was like, I couldn't stand what, we were running there. It just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, I think Kubiak hit that. Well, the one thing we know, it's a proven scheme. Because, he ran it with the 49ers and, and that comes from Denver ultimately. And, he did it with New Orleans. So I think it could be, I don't want to say night and day, but I think that we might be able to resurrect a couple of careers on that offensive line just because of that scheme.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all hoping for that and pulling for it, and there's a level of belief there. One more before we move on. Mark Schlereth just talked about, having just 3 above-average linemen. You brought that up. Is it good enough if you've got just 3 guys you really know are good, and the other 2 are kind of wild cards you're not sure? And he talked about you could do that if you've got the right coaching.
If you've got a couple of guys that you're really confident in, a couple of guys that you can leave one-on-one in critical situations, and then you can get help to the other guys, that puts you in a pretty good situation. So, yeah, you've got 3 guys that you feel like you're going to be solid or way above average, and you've got a couple of guys that are, okay or serviceable. You can do things exceptionally well. And then if you've got a coach that really understands what the issues are, what the problems are, you can protect an offensive line by the way you call plays as well. So all those things are important. And I know Clint Kubiak certainly understands that, certainly has been coached that way.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes perfect sense. Whether we're talking about the O-line or whether we're talking about the Mariners offense, whether it's Seitzer and Edgar getting together with Dan saying, hey, so-and-so really struggles against the lefty that throws a slider like this guy, or so-and-so really, really squares up a guy who pitches like this righty here, or whatever. They've got that extra information, putting these guys in a position to succeed. Maybe they're not the best at their position. It's not the best second baseman, third baseman in baseball, but they can put them in positions to look really good and succeed because they know their strengths and they know the opposition. So let's put them here. Let's not put them there, and understanding that.
Yeah. Yeah, and and on going back to football, on that side of it, it's not only the kind of plays that you run and the things that you're saying, but what you're asking him to do. And we've heard this a ton from Mark Schlereth about over the years, about talking about running a play like 1,000 times, and then we run something off of it, and you just grind in on the details. And I think that's probably what we're going to see. You're going to see probably a little bit of a jump as far as offensive line play goes. But, the other thing real quick, I know Rick Dennison, who's their run game specialist, has said this in the past that, and I kind of confirm, like, don't you think it's the one position where people complain about the most, offensive line that is, and know the least about? And he said, yeah, but not only that, you've got half of your players basically that are out on the field are offensive linemen. And so, yeah, when there's going to be a mistake, it just gets blown up, right? It's like, oh, he gave up a sack. We didn't pick up a third down, whatever. So, yeah, it's one of the, I just hope that that's a position group that we're not talking about.
That'd be
next
nice.
year.
Or if we do, hopefully it's raving. Hopefully it's a positive conversation. Meanwhile, Blue Jays come to town, and the Blue Jays are a struggling team right now. They've lost 3 games in a row. They're 3 games under 500. They've lost 7 of 10. And, again, Adnan Virk, who was on, talked about the team and just saying, offensively, this is just not a good Blue Jays team.
Well, the Jays right now, their lack of power is just horrendous. I mean, they've been out-homered 51-25. Vladimir Guerrero was given this $500 million contract, and he is on pace for 19 home runs. This is after averaging 34 home runs over his last 4 seasons. So he has not been the same power hitter. Bo Bichette's been even worse. He has 1 home run so far this year, and he's been healthy. He's played. He just hasn't been effective. I mentioned Santander's yet to get going. Springer's been better, but still only 4 home runs. So their offense is really lackluster. They're scoring the 3rd fewest runs in baseball.
Yeah, I don't. I think he said 51-25. I thought it was 26. But yeah, Toronto, they're tied for last as far as home runs go with 26 is what I saw. But Mariners, number 4 with 51.
Yeah,
and if you would have said that during the preseason or spring training, you would have said, yeah, switch those 2 teams.
Yeah, well, and it feels like as much as the Blue Jays have been problematic, and they still certainly could. These are still good players that just, much like Julio, haven't hit their stride yet. But Bo Bichette is hitting well. He's just not hitting home runs. Do you look at this as a kind of there's no excuse in losing to this team, losing the series? You may drop one.
No, I just the fact, that Vladdy and Bichette and Santander are kind of off their game right now kind of worries me a little bit.
You're worried they get hot here?
Yeah, Santander had a dreadful start, but he's starting to repair. And then, Bichette started off really hot, and now I think he's batting 194 in May. And then Vladdy he's on a 10-game hit streak right now. So I'm more on the other side. I'm worried that these guys are going to start being who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're in a pitcher's park. Hopefully this is not where their home run power starts to come to fruition here at T-Mobile, one of the hardest places to hit, but the weather is nice, so the ball will carry better than it does early in the season. But, yeah, this is a team I feel like, you know, they're kind of coming in a little shaky. You jump on them. Hopefully they can jump on them out of the gates, and Luis Castillo gets them in the right mode, and they take game one and win series number 10 in a row. How about that? All right, let's take two.
The Mariners did make a move earlier. Troy Taylor has been recalled. Trent Thornton placed on the 15-day IL with appendicitis. And a key note for this series. So the Mariners and Blue Jays have played 8 straight one-run games in Seattle, dating back to the final 2 games of the 2022 series.
Yeah, before the show, Dave found out about the appendicitis, and of course Matt said, you know, hey, I've gone through that, and Dave was inferring you were kind of a soft guy, kind of weak, like what appendicitis?
No,
Dave calling me weak. Oh no, what am I going to do?
Probably sulked the entire weekend.
I was already planning on doing that.
Oh, well played. Well played. But
yeah, we were talking about your appendix. You don't need it apparently, and it's obviously, according to Matt, very painful.
It can kill you.
Yeah, it can kill you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have been just like, I'll just tough it out. It'll go away.
Dave said, I'll pop it myself. I'll burst this thing. let me fall onto a table on purpose.
Maybe you broke it unintentionally when the weight fell on your rib.
On purpose time. Yeah, that could have been.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go over to your house and drop a 70-pound weight on you, and we'll see what happens, Mike.
So an interesting note, Sam Haggerty's batting leadoff and starting in center field for the Rangers in their opener today in Detroit. Leody Taveras, who had played center field for the Rangers before they waived him, obviously now on the Mariners. He's in the Mariners starting lineup today. And another note around the division, so the Yankees come here for 3 on Monday. They are in Sacramento for 3 against the A's starting tonight.
Hopefully the A's will be as big of a pest to them as they were to the Mariners. It's
beat them up.
Yeah, just, drag it out, get into that bullpen. Hopefully they can, knock the starters out, really overwork that bullpen. They come here beleaguered and tired, and good for Sam Haggerty. He was a nice guy and, kind of a fan favorite out here for a bit, and getting an opportunity after that injury to get things going with the Rangers.
Hey, by the way, I don't know about your level of hatred. Yankee fans versus Toronto fans?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, Yankee fans don't really bother me.
They don't bother you? It's the Red Sox fans?
It's the Houston fans and Red Sox fans.
Yeah. But what I heard today from 2 people walking into the building, that typically they load up, like they get 7 buses of Canadians coming down here. And I heard from both people that there was only 1.
Oh.
So maybe not so annoying tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what the crowd's like. I mean, come on. First place Mariners, a beautiful day. This should be packed with Mariner fans out here.
You're okay with the Blue Jay fans because they're Canadian. They're nice. But, I mean, New Yorkers? Get a bunch of New Yorkers coming in here.
I do remember seeing a bunch of the police that work here. They were up in the lunchroom a couple of years ago and asking them, like, what's the worst visiting fan base? Is it Boston? I was trying to feed them that. And they said, no, it's Toronto by far. And I'm like,
really?
Really? Because I said the same thing. I'm like, aren't they super nice and friendly? And they're like, anytime there's a bunch of fights and, unruly behavior, it's Toronto. And I was stunned by that answer.
They don't like the watered down beer here, apparently.
Maybe they just drink that much more in order to equal what they would get at home.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was what the police a couple years told me that work here. So there you go. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, Mariners rotation this weekend highlights one unknown about this team. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, straight from Pierre, South Dakota. Brock Gray, good morning. How are we feeling today?
Super excited to be a part of the Seahawks and the team that they do.
Are you still growing? Could we see a bigger Gray Zabel at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, big thing about gaining weight is just steaks and squats. That's all you got to do to put on pounds.
Steaks and squats. Well, and you could go from Bush Light to Bud Heavy if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. A few extra carbs.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hi, this is Nancy Penn Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park on a beautiful Friday. Mariners getting back to it tonight, game 1 of their 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays in town. You guys can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. We do have mean text today coming up at 5:15, so you've got time to get creative. Matt's already crafting some doozies over there, running his work by us, I should say. During the commercial breaks.
Well, don't spoil it, Bob.
Well, I won't repeat what you said. But you were already telling Dave mean text you were making about him.
Yeah, why about me? Why not? Why would you not make mean texts for the texters?
Why would I not make mean texts after you made fun of me for having an appendectomy? I feel like, if anything, today I've actually earned the right to make a mean text about you.
All right. Well, I don't even know what you're saying right now.
I don't know I don't get it. Meanwhile, you guys can send in your mean text, and we'll do that at 5:15 today. Again, 866-979-3776. Blue Jays in town. Luis Castillo on the hill. I would say to this point, Wu came off his worst start of the season. He's been nails up until this most recent start. He was not good. But he's still a guy that I look at and say, I've got the most confidence in him right now when he takes the hill.
Whoa, yeah. Right
behind him, very closely, is Luis Castillo, who's quietly been pretty solid. He's not been, he's not a guy who typically goes very deep into a game. He's I'd love to see more of that from him. It's just not what he does. But he's been effective in limiting the damage and coming up with some clutch situations out there. His last time versus the Blue Jays, he went 5 innings, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 102 pitches. Yeah. That's kind of where he's been, 5-6 innings, couple of runs, couple of walks. It's almost an Emerson Hancock line, that you look at, I don't expect Luis has got more electricity to him than Emerson Hancock. He's much more capable, I think, of going out there and just shutting a team down, certainly. But just in terms of the line after the game, that's kind of the neighborhood you're looking for from him.
Yeah, Castillo, we call him the Rock all the time, and I'm wondering if maybe this is going to be one of those seasons, just because the other guys are getting hurt. Bryce, you mentioned Wu had a bad outing. Bryce Miller has something going on. We hope it doesn't last too long. It sounds like it's something mental, and then you got the other 2 guys with physical and problems. So I was just looking at his numbers at this point last year. He pitched less innings this year than last year, but he's given up less hits. He's 2 better as far as earned runs go. He's had 8 more walks this year at this point than he did last year.
Yeah, that's been the one thing this year that's been, and it's early, but yeah, him and obviously Bryce Miller, a lot of walks.
Yeah, and then the other thing, and this was maybe the one that was most shocking, 19 less strikeouts. And we're talking about 652 pitches this year, 695 last year, so a few more. Certainly a few more pitchers, but he's got a better ERA. But that was the one that was like, okay, 19 less strikeouts. So if he can get back, to being a little bit more of the Rock, I think so far he's been pretty solid. But I wonder if maybe at the end of the year he just because, man, has he had anything? I'm trying to remember injuries that Castillo had that, in recent memory that were held him out of the rotation.
I feel like he missed. I don't know. Somebody will text it in. They'll remember. Nothing comes to mind immediately, but I feel like I remember him missing a couple of starts, but I don't know. I don't know. So text it in if you guys remember Luis Castillo being hurt in recent memory and when and what it was.
Yeah, another thing real quick, in 2024, he had given up 5 home runs. That was the one thing we would sometimes nitpick about with him, that he did give up some home runs. He's only given up 3 this year. Again, he threw more pitches last year at this point after 7 games, but so that number is pretty reasonable having, pitched 38 1/3.
My issue with his home runs, and look, all these guys are going to give up home runs here and there. His just seemed untimely, right? It wasn't like a leadoff home run. All right, you're down 1-0. It seemed like they came at crucial times when, you're battling. The offense is scratching out a couple of runs, and they came back and tied it, and then he'd give up the home run to, surrender the lead. Or they just seemed ill-timed. It wasn't so much about there's too many, and at some points there were too many, but it was about where they occurred. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like a strikeout. When we talk about the punitive nature of a strikeout, well, all right, you strike out in the first inning, nobody on, all right, you don't love it, but big deal. Well, other times you strike out with runners at second and third, and you're down by a run or you're tied, and you strike out, you kill a rally. It ends the inning. So obviously they're not all created equal. But as far as Bryce Miller goes, Jeff Passan on with Brock and Salk explained why he doesn't think there's any injury concerns with Miller right now.
I'm gonna counter any concern right now, and maybe this is gonna be egg on my face, but I look at those 2 outings that he was referring to where he gave up no runs, right? He threw only 83 pitches in the first and only 78 in the second. The second in particular I thought was impressive because of his strike total, but I love an outing where a guy does not have his best stuff, does not have the feel of the ball or the strike zone or particular pitches, and still has the gumption to go out there and put up zeros, where he's got traffic and he's pitching through guys with runners in scoring position and stranding guys, and still has a 0 at the end of the day. And to me, it's a nice evolution in a player's career.
Odd place to end that one, but okay. But I mean, look, I don't think they're going to run him out there if there's an injury concern. We've seen this team is on the other side. They're overly cautious at times. You almost feel like they are going to err on the side of caution. So if there were anything physically going on with him where they were like, well, he's not feeling right, the shoulder's a little bulky or the elbow's he's not out. They're not going to run him out there. So I'm not worried about anything physically unless they scratch his next start, and then we hear about, hey, he's got arm fatigue or he's got this, that, or the other. If they keep running him out there, I'm perfectly confident he's healthy. He's ready to go.
What was he talking about? Was it back tightness?
At not the most recent start, but the one before that, he said his back, and during warm-ups, he said kind of locked up on me.
Yeah.
So, and then other ones, it just sounded like he made it sound like they were just kind of nagging things, where he said, I just haven't felt right in most of my starts, or I can't remember how he phrased it, but making it sound like there was something going on physically, not big, but I just didn't feel good, I think is what he said.
Yeah, well, and then he went on the whole, the span of time where he was talking about, it's not mental, or, the mental part of it. It's not. I'm like, the more you say it, the more it seems to be.
Sounds mental.
The other thing, I think maybe that, when things are going good for him, I think every, the pitchers, whatever, you're playing 162 games. These guys obviously aren't pitching every night, but it puts a toll on your body. I think when things are going well, you don't notice those things, right?
Yeah.
You don't notice the little, back tightness and things like that if you're going out there and dealing. So, I think more than anything, that's what's going to make all of those little physical things go away for Bryce Miller, is when it clicks and he feels like the guy that he thought he was going to be this year.
Hey, the Mariners are back for 6 games at home starting tonight against the Blue Jays. Sunday is Mother's Day, and the first 10,000 moms are going to take home a Mariners-themed clear structured purse. If you're watching on the video stream, here it is, right here. Lefko's going to take this one home after the show, for sure. Carry around his pickleballs in there. Monday,
I can give them to Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. And Monday, by the way, is Star Wars night, and fans who purchase tickets through the online ticket special will receive a limited edition Mariners-themed Rebel Alliance button-up shirt. So you can go to mariners.com/tickets for more information. And an uncomfortable situation for one Major League Baseball team might open up an opportunity for this Mariner team. We'll tell you what that's about as we continue live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays. With Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Well, turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your vehicle today, pay you right up front, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I'm here with my friend Mark Clymer from Wayscar Ford in Auburn. So, Mark, it's been a few years since you started offering this. How's it going? And how much money have you given back to your customers that sold their cars to Wayscar Ford under this program?
It's going great, Stacy. As a matter of fact, we've given back over $750,000 to the customers that have sold their cars to us on our vehicle profit sharing program.
Wow, that's fantastic. Why do you think it's working so well?
Let's face it, it's Thunderdome out there with all the auto theft, the identity theft, and the other scams going on today. Less and less people are comfortable trying to sell their car themselves. So we offer them a way to get a lot more money for their car without having to go through all the hassle of trying to sell it themselves.
And it's only at Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
The Mariners are back in action at T-Mobile Park, and you can be there for big moments all summer long with a Flex membership. Flex plans are perfect for fans who want the freedom to choose their games and seats as they go, while still enjoying all the perks of being a member, like saving 10% or more on tickets with no fees, unlocking access to exclusive pre-sales and year-round discounts, and so much more. Join the squad today at mariners.com/flex.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2. Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Nikki Mamori.
Nope. There we go.
I heard Eamon Worry.
Yeah. And then you heard a maniacal laugh. I'm Mike Salk. No, I'm not sure what was happening there, but we are live at Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob coming your way. And coming up at 3:30, we are going to speak with Ben Nicholson-Smith. He's a Sportsnet Blue Jays reporter. So he'll join us at 3:30. Shannon Drayer will join us at 4 p.m. Logan Evans will be our Mariner guest at 5 p.m. And we'll do mean texts at 5:15. So there you go. And again, the text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Taking a look at some of the stories around the world of Major League Baseball. We were talking about this, I think, off the air yesterday, the Rafael Devers situation. And he is making it very clear that he's not willing to budge. At least he kind of made that clear in spring training that, no, I'm a third baseman. That's where I play. And lo and behold, he's not their third baseman. He's their DH. Now they have their first baseman is out for the season, and there's talk of him going to first base, and he's saying, no. You guys told me to put my glove away. I'm a DH, so that's what I'm going to do. The GM needs to go do his job and find somebody else. And you're like, yikes. All right. I mean, I guess I get it. He's frustrated that they moved him off a third to begin with, and now he's saying, oh, no, you didn't want me to play in the field, so I'm not going to play in the field. Where do you fall? I look at that and go, well, that's kind of a lousy teammate. But I kind of get his frustration. He thinks, they signed him to a big deal. He feels like he should have been the third baseman, but they signed Bregman to come in and take that spot. And now that they need help at first base because Cassis went down.
Yeah. Now
he's like, well, tough. Find somebody else.
When's the last time there was a player like that here or anything like that even close to that?
Probably Sean Figgins.
Figgins.
Yeah, and I don't know in the way of changing positions, but just kind of being maybe a pain to deal with.
Yeah.
Probably Figgins, Sean, or I don't know. There was some talk about Segura when he was here. He was a little problematic at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, not so openly to the media this way. Who knows what's being said behind closed doors that we're not privy to. But he's been pretty out there each time he's been asked about it. He's been pretty blunt and direct about, Yeah, too bad. This is who I am. This is what I signed to play, the position I signed to play. And if you want me to do something else, you should have told me. That's on you.
Well, and I think, I mean, just as a teammate, first of all, everything's through translation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching him yesterday with his translator.
Yeah, and I mean, that doesn't help, that's for sure. I mean, I know it's necessary, but yeah, I mean, can you imagine having a guy like that? And then they also have Alex Bregman there, and I don't know, maybe he just looks like he's annoying.
Yeah, but, he's just killing it, though. He is on fire there.
But, I mean, as far as a teammate goes, I mean, look, if you go over there, the reason why they're doing that, they expect that you're able to help the team out. And if you're the team, you're just going, you got to be kidding me. What's going on with this guy? So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's despicable just because, you know, you signed up to play baseball and it's their decision where to play you. And, you know, that this isn't doing any good for the team whatsoever.
By the way, one of the guys they've got filling in at first base, they've got a platoon going. One of them is Abraham Toro.
I saw that.
How about that? But it says here, Devers offered a suggestion to Breslow, their GM, who pitched 12 Major League seasons and was a key member of Boston's bullpen when the team won the World Series in 2013. Breslow's in his second season leading the Red Sox baseball operations department. His advice, now they should do their jobs, essentially, and hit the market and look for another player. I'm not sure why they want me to be in between. Next thing you know, someone in the outfield gets hurt. They want me to play in the outfield. I know the kind of player that I am, and that's where I stand. I'm going, my goodness, man. So I was looking at this going, I wonder if it gets to the point where they're like, you know what, let's move on from this goofball.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm like, well, if you're a Mariner fan, I'd love his ability. I'd love his talent. But would you want that element in your clubhouse?
No, absolutely not. I won't name names, but there was a guy that was in our clubhouse locker room. And, yeah, I mean, he had the reputation of being kind of a bad guy, and it turned out that he was that guy. And, you know, he just wasn't. He was very selfish. And
Look, Dave Craig has come a long way since those days, all right? Let's cut him some slack, Dave.
We're gonna have to pull that clip and play it for Dave. No, but then one of the offensive linemen ended up getting in a big fight with him and knocking him out or something, and then, you know, that kind of took care of that problem. But it was just one of those. It was like a cloud that hung over the locker room the entire year.
Was he a talented guy? Like, hey, man, this guy can help our team.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's how I view Devers. There's part of me going, man, if it gets bad, maybe they'll ship him off and they'll pick up a ton of his salary just to get rid of him, and the Mariners could land him. But then I'm like, God, I don't know. This is a really good clubhouse. This team is rolling right now. Would you want to mess it up with somebody who's got this kind of attitude?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, and until it turns into gunplay, I'll still have been on a team with a worse teammate. That's all I'll say. There was gunplay.
Well, there was gunplay with the Hibachi, Gilbert Arenas, NBA.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. There was gunplay there. So that's unfortunately not completely uncommon, but fairly. Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to watch from the outside, see somebody be so publicly, you know, just nope. This is what I do. This is what I signed up for, and that's what I'm going to do. So you need help? Tough. Go find help. I mean, it's just to be that guy publicly is like, whoa, all right, I guess part of me respects your honesty and put it out there, but the other part of me is going, God, you're kind of a lousy teammate, I think. You know, I mean, look at Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is one of the great stars in this game, and they say, we want you to play short. Okay. We want you to play second. All right. We'd like you to play right field. All right. Yeah, I mean, he's just wherever, you know. Altuve, I hate to give him credit, but he's a second baseman his whole career, and now they want to move him to left field. And he's like, okay, let me get my little legs going. I'll run out there, and it'll take a minute because I take short little steps, but I'll play left field. You know, the guy's a star. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird, but I wouldn't mind that talent in this lineup, but I don't know if he'd be worth the baggage that he may bring and the disruption he may bring.
No, not at all. Yeah, and I think Mike put in the question, would you want to trade for him? I mean, maybe this environment makes him into a more generous person and a better teammate and whatnot, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I've heard a story like this.
Yeah. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Meanwhile, a lot on the line for this series. We're going to make our predictions about it. We'll call it now. It's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Nicky Manwari, how do you see them using him?
I think they'd love to put him at that second level. Does it allow them a little freedom, Salk, to put Spoon back outside a corner, right, where you can have some real strength with Reek and him, and this dude around the line of scrimmage cleaning stuff up on aisle 9? Yeah, man, there's a lot of excitement about just molding that kind of talent.
Blue 88 every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Hey, fight fans, Bob Stelton here from Wyman and Bob. How'd you like to sit ringside with me at Excite Fight MMA? Seattle Sports is hooking up one lucky winner with 2 VIP tickets. That's right, you and a guest for an unforgettable night of fights on May 24th at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. These seats are right next to the cage, right next to me. You're not going to find them online. This is a one-of-a-kind experience. You can enter right now at seattlesports.com/win for your shot at a fight night you're never going to forget.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See team for full details and disclaimer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs From voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners begin their three-game series tonight with the Toronto Blue Jays right here at T-Mobile Park. They're going to send Luis Castillo to the hill. He'll face off against Kevin Gausman. You'll catch all of the action of that one beginning at 5:30 right here with the pregame show, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, other stories happening around the world of the NFL. The Cleveland Browns reunion with free agent running back Nick Chubb is, quote, increasingly unlikely. That coming from GM Andrew Berry this morning after the team added 2 running backs in the NFL draft. Chubb ranks 3rd on the Browns' career rushing list, remains unsigned after spending the first 7 years of his career with the Browns. Meanwhile, Charlie Woods, son of Tiger Woods, was unsuccessful in his second attempt to qualify for the U.S. Open. He carded a 3 over par 75 at Wellington in Florida on Thursday. He's obviously the son of 15-time major champion Tiger Woods, with 7 strokes over the required score of 68.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park on a beautiful Friday. Sun is shining. It's warm. Summer's on its way. It's almost here. Baseball is all around us. It's just a baseball feeling when your team's in first place. They've won 9 consecutive series, looking to make it 10 against this Blue Jays team coming in here struggling a bit. They've lost 7 of 10. They're 3 games under 500. They can't hit home runs, Dave. They can't. The power's not there, and hopefully they don't find it here at a pitcher's park. We'll see what goes on, but we haven't done this in a bit. We got to make some predictions on this series. It's time to call it now.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
It's time for Wyman and Bob to put their reputations on the line.
I need to know what I stand to win. Everything. Call it.
Say it! Say it! This is Call It Now.
Good answer. Like the way you think.
All right, time to make the predictions on this series. Let's go with the easy and the most obvious important question here. Who wins this series, Dave?
Seahawks.
Or the Mariners.
Oh. It's a stupid joke.
Bob, you thought that would be the easy one, too.
Yeah, I thought it would. Dave slipped. tried to prop it up as a joke because Matt started howling at him.
I just love to see the look of annoyance on Matt's face. I think they're going to win. I think this is going to be number 10.
I do too. I think they're going to win the series. I think they get tonight. I think Luis Castillo is going to come out and he's going to throw a gem. He's going to come out with a strong performance, and the offense will do what they need to do to get the win. So yeah, I don't know which other. I think they drop one though. I don't know. I don't think they'll sweep. They're going to drop one of these.
I would agree.
See which one, but
take 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, and Lefko's got it written down. Dave's picking the Seahawks. Bob's picking the Mariners. So
I'll be wrong no matter what, but
that's right.
okay. As long as it's a Seattle team that's winning. I think this will be – it's kind of cool. I was looking at Castillo's numbers today and just, what's going on with Logan Gilbert and Kirby and now, you see that Bryce Miller's kind of in his head a little bit, and – they call him the Rock, and, everybody always just talks about him glowingly, and maybe he's the guy that, when we ask, okay, who's the ace? And you and I can't really do that because everything's been kind of interrupted, and it's like, hey, who has the hot hand right now? But Luis Castillo, just every time Dan calls him the Rock, I'm like, he really is. And if you look at how much more solid he's been in a few different categories, but yeah, I think this is a great way to start it out, and that's just kind of my little side prediction that maybe in a month or two that we're going to be talking about Luis Castillo's solid year.
All right, moving on to the offense. 3 games. Do they score over or under 12.5 total runs?
3 games. I'm going to say, yeah, they're going to go over. I'm over. How about you? Those offensive numbers that you trotted out there the other day, and you look at how everything is flipped. The pitching has some serious repair to do, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at last year with the pitching, number 1 in almost every category, and you look at right now they're middle of the pack, and if not like 23 in WHIP, number 24 in on base or opponent average. So, yeah. Now all of a sudden the offense is kicking in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you on that. I think they'll go over the 12.5 total runs in 3 games. And all right, how about this for the pitching? This is unfortunately a bigger question. Do they allow over or under 12.5 runs?
I'm going under. I'm bullish, and just haven't talked about Castillo and how solid he's been, and you've got some good pieces coming out of the bullpen. I'll be really interested to see Brash and and how long Andres Munoz can keep up this pace. But I'm going to say it's going to go through this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. A lot of that is just based on the struggles of their offense coming in, that they've been struggling to produce, and certainly in the terms of damage, home runs, things like that, they've really been scuffling. And again, hopefully it doesn't come to light here.
We have twice as many home runs as the Toronto Blue Jays.
Let's just hope they take another few days to get well. So we'll see. But I'll go with the trend right now. Mariners are in a perfect park for a struggling offense to come in and continue to struggle. All right, you brought up Munoz. Over under 1.5 saves in this 3-game series.
I'm going to say under on that, and really that's just not. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on Andres Munoz just because he's just been so unbelievably good. This is an incredible tear, but I don't know that it's going to keep going this way. So I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I'm going to say under.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go over because Lefko gave us that stat earlier that the Mariners and Blue Jays have played 8 consecutive 1-run games.
Yeah.
I don't know that means that's just how it's going to go, but that's been the trend.
I'll tell you what, that's one category that the pitching, number 3 is, well, I mean, I don't know what, after, this was a couple of days I looked it up ago that I looked up, but they're number 3 as far as saves.
Yeah.
I think they're at 14 saves this year.
Yeah, I'll go the over. I'll just go the over just to be, because we've got the same answer.
Go ahead,
for
put pressure on poor Andres Munoz.
I know he's going to feel my pressure too. How about Julio? Julio's been, we talked about it. He's quietly on a bit of a hot streak. He's got back-to-back games with multiple hits. He's got at least 1 hit in 14 of the last 18 games. Does he go over or under 4.5 total hits for this series?
So we're talking about around 12, 13 at-bats maybe. I'm going to say over for Julio, and that was just that little moment that he had in Sacramento where, he chased a really bad pitch and kind of regained his composure, and I think he's finding something there, not trying to do too much, so I'm going to say over 4.5 hits.
Okay, I'll go the under. I'll go the under on 4.5. I think he's going to get on. I think he's going to work some walks, but total hits, yeah, I'll take slightly under. Your boy Cal. Over or under 1.5 home runs.
Shockingly, I'm going to say under, because I don't want to put too much pressure on Cal.
I like how you feel like our prediction somehow translates to what they're feeling at the plate or
true.
on the mound.
Well, there's lots of people that listen to us on the way in, Bob.
Yeah.
They're going to be, come on, Cal.
You think he'd hear you going, well, great, now I got to live up to Dave's prediction.
Yeah. The biggest laugh I just got from Matt is I said there's lots of people listening to us.
Is that what he was laughing at?
He was over there laughing at something. He's getting together his mean
No, it was
texts.
something completely unrelated. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You were laughing at something not related to that?
Can you tell us what you were laughing about?
Okay, fine. I was laughing at you saying there were people listening. You got me.
I think Cal, he gets one. I don't know that he gets multiple. I'm gonna take the under on that as well. All right, and then the final one. We'll go the final one here. J.P. Crawford, who's just been red hot. His on base is over 400. He's in the midst of a 15-game hit streak. He takes walks. He makes the opposition work. He gets them to throw a lot of pitches. So J.P. Crawford, over, under, 6.5 times on base.
J.P. is feeling it right now. And I'm glad you brought this up earlier about the fact that he was pretty beat up last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he's such a great leader, and everybody just loves JP. And, you know, when you get, I don't know, he's just always somebody that I expect solid defense from, and I know that he's going to have, you know, good at bats, but I'm just like, I mean, offensively, if he chimes in, great. But I don't want to put too much pressure on him. But, yeah, because you just, I don't want it to.
The show
look
has
like
so much power.
Yeah, I don't want it to look like, oh, yeah, JP, just go keep doing what you're doing. I think what he's doing is pretty amazing, but I am going to say over.
I think he is, too. I think he's very adept at working the walk like we talked about. It doesn't mean he's going to come up with 7 hits, but he is hot. I don't know that I think the hit streak ends. I will make that prediction off the board. That's not one of the categories, but I think.
Is it 15 or 16?
It's at 15 right now. So, you know, I don't think he's stretching it to 18. Again, hope to be wrong and be proud to be wrong on that one. But, yeah, I think that comes to an end. But I do think he gets on base in total over 6.5 times.
Yeah.
He could get plunked. He could walk. You never know. So we'll see what goes on there. So there you go. We'll come back and revisit those on Monday. Meanwhile, if you missed any part of our show or you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads. It's all there. YouTube, obviously. You can find our segments and our conversations, our interviews with like Mark Schlereth and Ryan Rowland-Smith and Mariner players, Seahawks players, all that stuff is there for you. Meanwhile, it's, you know, we had a chance to catch up with Matt Brash earlier in the week, and it's good to see him back, but what you're seeing, at least out of the gates, is they're being very deliberate with how they use him. They're being very economical with him, which makes sense, right? You're not going to just go, all right, running you out there 2-3 nights in a row like we did before. You're totally fine. They're just a baby stepping it, letting him find his way. And Cal Raleigh, during the Cal Raleigh show that you heard yesterday, if you guys missed that, by the way, you'll be able to find that on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But he talked about why they know it's going to be a little while before Brash is fully himself again.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Obviously, great having him back, great stuff, but it's going to take a while. You know, it's not going to be the Matt Brash you've probably seen in the past in the sense of just come in automatically. And that's simply just because of the injury, you know. He's still going through some of that stuff, and, you know, he's essentially, obviously, he's being brought back very early, which is good. It's good that he's healthy and it's good he's doing this, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's just having that feel, you know. You basically got a whole brand new arm, and you're learning again, you know, those feels and how to throw and those kind of like little nuances that you know about yourself, and he's just having to pick those back up again. And it's just hard when you're coming off injury like that. So, but he did a great job the other night, and, you know, continuing for him just being put in situations to have success and, you know, keep throwing. And there's going to be ups and downs just because, you know, he's coming back from that tough injury. So, but he's doing a great job.
See, Cal's kind of like me. He's protecting his guy there. It's like, let's not expect too much from Brash. But, yeah.
Just a way for you and Cal to relate to each other. We're a lot alike, that Cal and I.
I do like, Dave, that you're worried that, like, someone's going to be sitting down there and, like, yelling at him. Hey, Dave Wyman said you're going to hit 2 home runs. Why haven't you hit one?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to expect too much from these guys. I mean, what they're doing, I appreciate. And but it has nothing to do with me thinking that any of them ever listened to the radio. I had no idea. When I was a player, I had no idea. Like, I knew Rabel.
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was doing on the plane. I would just talk to him and like, oh, there's a radio broadcast? No idea. And I'll bet you a lot of these guys don't.
I feel like today's athletes are a little more dialed into what's being said about them. They're more sensitive. Social media is there. They're hearing it. It was much more scarce, that information, back when you were playing, Dave. It was the newspaper.
Yeah, it was.
And
we called it
telegrams.
Bulletin board and smoke signals.
Smoke signals, Morse code.
Yeah, remember they talked about the bulletin board material? That was like a phrase, but that was real.
Well, maybe you just gave Cal Raleigh bulletin board material. You could have helped him out. Someone's going to tell him, Dave Wyman doesn't believe you can hit 2 home runs this weekend.
He thinks you're going to crumble under the pressure of his expectations.
You know, Cal would say, if he wants to think that, he can think that. That's fine.
That's totally fine.
That's okay.
He's allowed to.
Yeah.
By the way, you've saddled Ryan Rowland-Smith with bearing the brunt of your predictions. So hopefully you're right, because you're not here on Monday. So we had to play him back.
Oh.
So he's either going to be saddled with a lot of losses, or I guess he'll take credit
Have
for
him take a look at it and see what he thinks.
He'll take great delight in making fun of anything you're wrong on. So he'll really enjoy that, all the wrong answers there. But looking at this team as far as the pitching goes and relief pitching goes, Brash is a guy that, as you heard from Cal there, obviously they're not going to just run him out there the way they did in the past. And he gave a little more detail why, in his opinion, it takes so long to come back from that arm injury.
I mean, it's hard enough for a regular player or a pitcher to get their feel back coming from just a normal off season. And, you look at that, it's a year and some change. Yeah. And you just basically having to, ramp back up. A lot of people don't understand the rehab process that you have to go through. You don't throw for the longest time, then you just start building your arm back up. You slowly build it, and then you got to go through. And it's not just the elbow you're rehabbing the shoulder, and it's just everything. It's really hard. And like I said, he will get the feel. Get that feel back eventually, understanding that, it's going to take a little bit of time, but, in the meantime, he's still threw really well the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you look at, like, let's say a linebacker coming back from a knee injury, knee surgery, and comparing that to Matt Brash either having, a shoulder or an elbow, it's so much more delicate. You look at the ridiculous, I mean, look, as a linebacker, you're putting your body through pretty strenuous situation. But, I mean, looking at how that arm bends and contorts and whips, I mean, you were talking about how he looked good during spring training. And
first week of March we were down there, and he had some, we don't have a radar gun, so it was hard to tell how hard he was throwing hard. You could, you could see it. And there was great movement on the pitch. He was throwing the slider. He was throwing the fastball. Obviously, it was popping that catcher's mitt, and he didn't look like he was holding back. So,
but just the process to get to the point where he can, throw just unfettered like he used to, not have to think about it anymore, has got to be just a ridiculous process, because you're like, okay, ramp it up a little bit. All right, how does that feel? It's almost like a pitch by pitch type of thing, and it just, like I said, so delicate and exact. You talk about the spin and this placement. There's so many things that go into making a good pitch, and you throw a surgery in there. I mean, it's amazing that, I know it's been a long time. It was, late in 23 last time
September of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but, I just, it's just crazy. And that's what we always talked about, that when we look at they called his slider like a legendary pitch or something, that was out of this world. And you look at what his arm has to go through to do that. Yeah, I think if you just go look at that, go, okay, maybe let's just back off a little bit with him and start him off slowly.
Well, they certainly are, and we'll see, as the season goes on, how much more they increase his workload. He's pitched an inning and 2/3 so far. So, they'll baby step him, and so far they can get away with it because they've got other guys that have been stepping up in that bullpen. They were hoping Gregory Santos would be one of those guys. That move has been a bit of a disaster since it's happened. He's not been healthy. When he's been healthy, he's been ineffective, and now he's in AAA. So I don't know if they can fix whatever's going on with him, but the guys you've got up here now, you look for that high-leverage setup role, if you will, getting two Munoz. To me, you got two obvious options, and if you want to keep Spire facing left-handers, but Gabe Spire's been solid. He's been solid. He's not infallible. None of these guys are, but Spire and Vargas are the two guys that I would lean on going into that situation. Like, if you got a tough 8th inning here, we got to get it to Munoz. Who do you want to throw? It's one of those two guys, depending on, right hand, left hand, who's up there. But those are the ones I have the most confidence in.
Yeah, and I was just looking at some of the numbers, like the saves and things like it. It has really been amazing that this pitching staff, just in general, has not really hit its stride yet. I mean, the bullpen is a huge part of that. But yeah, I'm just going to be really excited to see when everybody gets back and is healthy. But kind of good with Trent Thornton. I mean, at least it's not like an elbow or a shoulder thing, right? It's like appendicitis. I think people have that all the time and, get it done. So hopefully he comes back a little bit better than he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a little up and down. He's a little, makes me a little nervous at times. Legamina's actually been pretty solid. Yeah. He's a guy that doesn't get a lot of conversation. He's pitched 9 innings. He's got a 3 ERA. Bizzardo, you've called on a lot. He's pitched 19 innings. I think he leads the bullpen in terms of just innings pitched. Vargas is at 17 1/3. Spires at 14. Munoz at 18. So, yeah, Bizzardo's the guy coming out of the pen that they've relied on the most. He's been good. He's had some shaky moments, too. But just in terms of, like, if let's say you run Munoz out there 2 nights in a row, you're like, we can't go third night, but we're up by a run. We got to get the guy in there to save this game. I'm probably going with Vargas. Yeah. That's probably my guy in that situation. And again, these guys have been put in, and I think he's got 1 save on the season. I think they've put him in there for, Vargas has 1 save. I mean, Munoz has 13. He's your guy, but if he's not available, maybe Vargas is their go-to.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, he's looked really good, and that's been kind of a big surprise. But it's just amazing to me what the pitching staff has done as far as bringing in, because we talk about how bullpen kind of goes year to year. You're up, you're down, and they just have been able to get not only great talent here, but then just develop it in the way that they use it. They've done a really good job. And speaking of, of that, I mean, the Matt Brash, the way that they're handling him, I wonder if there's a lot of other staffs that would have thrown him out there too early.
Yeah, I feel like most clubs are pretty adept at understanding where guys are coming from, where they're working from, what they're capable of. I mean, if they got any plans for these guys to be part of their future, they're going to err on the side of caution. We've seen the Mariners up close and personal with every single move they make, so we're in tune with how they handle it. But I'm gonna go ahead and give credit to the rest of the league and say that they get it. They're not going to just throw this kid out there and go, all right, Doc says he's good, just run him out there day after day after day. So they're gonna monitor that as well. But yeah, this team has done a nice job, kind of a hodgepodge as they usually do with the bullpen. The people like Legomina and Vargas, who we haven't talked a lot about in the past, haven't been a big part of the past, but finding guys who are slowly building up your confidence as a fan when you see them come into a game. That's what they did with Topa. That's what they did with Seawald. That's what these names you hadn't heard before, and you're like, all right, well, let's see what this guy's got. And then you fast forward middle end of the season, you're like, they come into the game, I'm relaxed. I feel good. And these guys are kind of working their way into that, for me anyway. I don't know about you, but
Seawald at age 30 debuted, right?
Is that what he was? Was he 30? I thought he might be 31 or something. Yeah. He was
amazing.
He was great.
Yeah. So they've just done a great job of identifying talent and developing them.
All right, coming up, we're going to get some more insight on this Blue Jays team from Ben Nicholson-Smith of Sportsnet. He's going to join us here as we continue live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Nicky Manwari has been compared to Cam Chancellor, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
He's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering, and Cam Chancellor was just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to fight anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and have you ever thought, I'm not good enough to get a golf handicap, or I don't play enough golf to get one? Maybe you just like to have fun and don't think you need one. Think again. Any golfer, whether they're highly skilled or just starting out, can get a handicap. It can turn any round into a competition, for fun, or for a club trophy. You can get a handicap in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, boom, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk hauling, donations, and recycling. We'll give you an exact price before we start the job and get it done with a smile. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment, and I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance, and I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions, and they walked us through every step of the process, and then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. The Plus 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. Mariners getting set to take on the Toronto Blue Jays, who are in town starting tonight, game 1 of a 3-game series. We get a closer look at this team with their Blue Jays reporter for Sportsnet Canada, Ben Nicholson-Smith, is with us. How are you, man? Well,
doing great. Thank you for having me on here. It's nice to be in Seattle. It's a beautiful park here with the roof open, so that's great.
Beautiful weather, right?
Cannot beat it.
What we're looking at the Blue Jays from afar, obviously, not watching all the games, just looking at numbers. And the one thing we keep hearing and from national voices out there is the power outage, that this team is just not hitting home runs, that, I think Vlad's got 4 at this point. Bo Bichette's got 1, Santander with 5. What is it? Is it guys pressing because they're hearing that? They're gripping the bat a little tighter? How do you explain the lack of production that way?
It's been a huge, huge factor in their struggles this season. I think partly it's Santander and Vladdy off to slow starts. Those are their big guys, obviously, and it just hasn't happened for them offensively so far. I think there's a lot more in the tank for those two guys. Then Bichette, he's hitting, but he's not hitting for power. And I think the real kind of culprit here, the real difference compared to where they hope to be, is just the bottom of the order. It just hasn't had guys step up, whether it was Will Wagner, Kirk, Alan Roden, Addison Barger, Nathan Lucas. You can kind of go down the list, and they've had guys who maybe have had some good moments. Maybe it's a sack bunt or, running a double or, doing some nice little things, but they haven't connected for the home runs. So you're left with a team that is really struggling in that respect. I mean, worst in the major leagues when it comes to home runs.
Who are some of the guys that, Ben, that you think are playing really well, though, that aren't like Bichette, Santander, or Vladdy, somebody that's kind of carrying the mail during this time?
For a good chunk of the season, it really was the bullpen. And earlier this week in Anaheim, Jeff Hoffman allowed 3 runs in back-to-back appearances. So he's kind of struggling right now. He had a day off on Thursday. He had a day off, and Jimmy Garcia will be good to go heading into this series against the Mariners as well. So those guys are rested. For most of the season, they have been really the driving force behind what's been good with the Blue Jays, because at a time that they're not hitting home runs, for them to win, they have to win 4-3 and 3-2. So they were pushing those guys so much, trying to get the most out of them. It really worked for a while, and they were able to kind of win those 3-2 games. And earlier this week, it kind of fell apart. But they've really relied on Hoffman and Jimmy Garcia.
How do you think they view coming to this park when they're struggling offensively in terms of producing power? This is not a home run hitter's park, although when the weather's like this, the ball does carry decidedly better than it does in April. But do you think there's apprehension like, great, we've dropped 7 of 10, we're not hitting home runs, and now we're going to T-Mobile?
I think, it's also the fact that they're facing Castillo and Miller this series. I mean, that's going to be tough. Yeah, it's never easy. I think facing the Mariners, their pitching, as you guys obviously know, has been so good for such a long time that you never expect to have an easy time against this team. I think the Jays, they're not worried about the Mariners as much. They're just trying to figure it out themselves. And it's like whoever they're playing, they need to find answers. They know that they're not hitting for enough power. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, you look at the names, like you guys said off the top, this should be a group that's hitting more home runs, and they're just not. So they got to figure something out, because you're not going to win. You're not going to be in the playoffs if you're at the bottom of the league in home runs. You just have to find a way through that.
Ben, we've been talking a lot here in Seattle about the coaching and just the message and the hitting coach and things like that, and just how. And I think we've talked about that almost more than the players. About the approach and things like that. What's been the discussion? Any of that kind of discussion going on in Toronto?
100%, yeah, because. You think about the changes that they've made, right? They replaced their hitting kind of department, really. I mean, Dom Mattingly's still on the team, and he's still a big part of this coaching staff, but he used to be leading things. Last year, he was the offensive coordinator. Then they took him out of that role. He's essentially in a bench coach role. Then they fired their old hitting coach. They brought in a new hitting coach. Clearly, the results are not good. At a certain point, it's really tough. I mean, there are fans in Toronto and really across Canada who have a lot of frustration with manager John Schneider. And, you know, there are certainly decisions that we could look at and we could break down, but, you know, at a certain point, the players are who they are. At a certain point, the players have to produce, and the GM obviously has a big role in putting those players in the field and choosing who actually gets those reps. But it really is on the players to come through, and so this is where they need a little bit more from Kirk. They definitely need more from Bichette and Santander and up and down the lineup. They also need someone to break out, and maybe, like, you know, I know the Mariners have had Jorge Polanco come not out of nowhere, but like a season like that goes such a long way to really driving an offense.
What's the reaction to Greg Springer out there? He's a guy that signs a big deal coming over from Houston. He had hit 39 home runs, 34 home runs. He hasn't approached that number, but I mean, this year, average-wise, he looks like he's hitting 298 at this point with a 413 on base. But is he a guy that fans feel like he's lived up to the billing, or no, he's not the guy we thought we were getting from Houston?
I think, yeah, with Springer, there was definitely a period of disappointment with him. I guess it was probably 2 years, really, 2023 and 24. He just didn't deliver offensively to the level of his contract, which at that time was the biggest of Blue Jays history at $150 million. Vlad Jr. has since surpassed that, but still, that's a pretty big contract. He just wasn't delivering on it. But this year, he is producing, and I think at this point, it almost feels like found money again, where it's like, hey, this guy is kind of fading, and now he's hitting on a team where no one else is hitting. Like, this is much needed for the Blue Jays. So we'll see where it leads. He's 35 years old. Like you said, I don't think anyone's expecting those monster power numbers anymore, but I do think that they need to ride this as long as they possibly can.
So, Ben, I heard from people in the parking lot and, you know, some of the attendants and everything that usually there's like 7 buses of Canadians that are coming down for this series, and that they both said only one. Wow. Is that surprising?
Yeah.
I mean, because usually you take over here.
That's right, yeah.
Toronto does.
It is surprising. So this is my first time here in Seattle. Great first impression. So I can't speak to the kind of history here. I've obviously followed from afar and covered games, you know, in many different places with the Jays. But yeah, from everything that I've seen or heard, it sounds like it's usually a huge showing. We'll see. I mean, I don't know exactly what to expect any more than you guys, but yeah, it's obviously an amazing park and a cool spot for fans to visit if they get the chance.
I think they're just flying instead of taking a bus.
Maybe that's it, right? Maybe that is.
They're going to be here.
Hey, as far as Bo Bichette goes, what do you see out of him this year and last year? I know he didn't play a full season last year, but the power wasn't there. He had 3 years in a row where it's 20-plus home runs, almost 30 in 1 year. And he's a guy looking for a new deal as well. So is the feeling like, well, look at him, he's not producing, so why would we commit that money? Or is there a strong sense that the fan base wants him back? How does he sort of fit based on who he's been the past couple of seasons?
I think everyone's trying to figure that out, because last year he had so much time on the injured list with a couple of knee injuries, and he just wasn't fully healthy. Clearly, defensively, offensively, it wasn't there for him. So he needed to reset, and the results have been good this year offensively. But it's a huge season for him, because if things go right, then maybe you're talking about a Dansby Swanson type deal. Maybe it's a Willy Adames type deal. If things go really right, I mean, Corey Seager, I mean, I don't know if that's crazy when you look at Bo Bichette, who's 27 years old. This is a really young player in this game, but he has 1 home run. His defensive metrics aren't great, so there's a lot at stake here for him personally, and then for this team, because for them to get where they want to go, they need Bo, they need Vladdy, they need Santander, especially in the context of a team that hasn't had those breakouts, that hasn't had those minor league players stepping up. Their big guns have got to deliver.
Do you think the problem was he cut his hair?
Maybe. That's a question for Bo, but yeah, it's a different look. That's
for
sure.
Long, flowing, luscious locks, and he cut it all off.
No, it's tough.
He's like Samson.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what do you make of the Mariners? I mean, this is supposed to be a team all about pitching, and really it's all been about offense.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And I think I was definitely one of the people that looked at them this offseason, and I was like, why didn't they spend? Why didn't they go out there and just do more? And you see Justin
You weren't
Turner's,
alone.
We also complained just a little bit about
I think it was justified. I mean, you know, looking at it from afar, it's like you have this amazing pitching staff. Why is it not being supplemented? And there was clearly... It seemed like ownership just needed to step up and spend. So, you know, now I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, no one can stop the Mariners. Clearly this is going well, so they did something right, like I said, with Polanco, and then you have, you know, core internal players doing what they should. So to me, it looks like a really good team. I think with Houston kind of taking, I don't want to say a huge step back, but maybe they're not the force that they were 6 or 7 years ago. There's room to do some damage in this division, and Texas hasn't really been what they should be. So I think the Mariners are the favorites at this point. I don't know where you guys land on that, but am I off base in thinking that?
Well, I mean, we try not to be. I think it's just shock from years past. Maybe
and we were equally disappointed with the offseason.
Yeah.
So what they're doing now is very pleasantly surprising. Just quickly before I let you go, I'm just curious your take on the American League as a whole. It doesn't look great, and even the AL East you look at and you go, well, they're the Yankees, but the rest of the division isn't really playing to the level you expected. What's your take on just the AL in general as it stacks up to the NL?
Yeah, I don't think it's as good. I agree with that. I think that the Tigers have taken a big step forward, which is great. Kansas City is hanging around, but I think the rest of that division is pretty beatable. I don't think the Guardians are what they were last year. And then in the American League East, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Baltimore. I mean, that's kind of a weird one to me.
Can't pitch.
Right. I mean, that's probably the core of it. So they're getting Eflin back, I think, on Sunday. Grayson Rodriguez at some point. Maybe that helps them. And then I think Boston's going to be really good. I won't be surprised if Boston wins the East. I know the Devers stuff is going on now, and that's obviously a big deal. But I actually think that Boston, I don't know. I think they could win the division.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Ben Nicholson-Smith, Blue Jays reporter for Sportsnet Canada, has been our guest here. Really appreciate you coming out here, man.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, enjoy your time out here in Seattle.
Will do.
You got a great weather weekend for you here, so we'll see how the series goes. Game 1 coming your way tonight. Meanwhile, one NFL GM has a strange experience whenever he comes to Seattle. That's next in our Wyman of the Week as we continue live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do. Incredible comeback again from this group. At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. Recently we had Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey, and he's a Swedish Cyberknife patient. Him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife came in studio last week, and a couple of things really stood out during our conversation. Stood out about Swedish Cyberknife. Treatment is number 1. It only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. And Andy was able to remain comfortable during treatment. He wore his street clothes in, didn't experience any side effects, or other than mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods where you have surgery or you have to have a catheter. I mean, it's like day and night. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in such high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. And we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Well, Swedish Cyberknife truly has done that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician's referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 Down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the WHYMAN of the week.
It is time for WHYMAN, which is presented by Mazda of Everett. We continue here. Where's John Stanton swinging by for a hot minute here at Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park?
I like the look he just gave us. Asked, hey, want to come on?
Yeah, ask him every time. He always comes down and says hello, and I'm like, well, you gonna jump on with us? And he just gives a look like, what are you, nuts?
Yeah.
You're crazy. So,
we have to ask every time though.
Yeah, I'll float it to him each time. You see, one day he'll say, yeah, maybe when they clinch a playoff, he'll want to come on.
There's a little bit of pressure though when you're talking about the guy who owns the team that you're discussing on the air.
Yeah, to his credit, we've certainly been very critical at times, and he still comes down to say hello.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
Some people don't take it as well as he does. Meanwhile,
he kind of owns the joint.
Well, he does, but there are others within the joint that are a little more sensitive to that kind of criticism. Meanwhile, MLB Central panel yesterday made their picks about who's going to win the AL West. So you had a panel up there, Dave, and nobody picked the Mariners.
I'm going to go with the Rangers. I know where they're sitting in the division right now, but I trust Evaldi, Malley, DeGrom as my 1, 2, and 3, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. And it'll be hard for me to sit here in August or September and say I'm so surprised that Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia and Wyatt Langford and Josh Young, hey, those guys got it going. Surprise, surprise. So I still think the Rangers are the team to beat.
It should be the Rangers.
But
by the way, the A's have won 10 of 15.
You know how I feel about the Athletics. They're 2 pitchers away from Mark Kotsay being a massive factor. But I'm gonna stay safe. Houston.
Okay.
I picked him at the beginning of the year. You got to prove to me you can beat him. Hunter Brown's as good as anybody. Still love Altuve. Jordan hasn't swung the bat at all.
They better get Jordan back quickly.
They got to get him right. You know he's going to go on a binge at some point.
Was Greg Amsinger part of the deal there?
I don't know. Was that DeRosa?
I was going to say, it's your guy, DeRosa.
Yeah.
Who might have to turn on him.
Who else was on there?
I don't know.
Screwing this whole thing up.
I just know DeRosa because Dave is such a big fan. So,
yeah.
Well,
add him to the list.
I've mentioned him a number of times. He does a good job on that show, and he's been a guest of ours. And
he didn't do a good job there.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, he did.
No love for the Mariners.
Baseball. They didn't even get mentioned. The A's got mentioned.
Well, and he was hot off of that whole thing he did with the big dumper, the SS dumper, and the whole deckhand and, captain and all that good stuff. And, yeah, so.
Not even a mention.
Not even a mention.
The A's got mentioned, the Astros and the Rangers, so they just kicked the Mariners to the curb along with the Angels there.
I'm surprised that people aren't doing what you brought in the other day, Bob, and we talked about for like an hour, that it's entirely flipped around as far as hitting, offense being great and pitching being bad. I'm surprised that people aren't looking and going, okay, they're going to get Kirby back. They're going to get Logan Gilbert back. And now you're just asking, hey, can Bryce Miller figure out his mental problems? And then, because Emerson Hancock, horrible first outing, but then, everything's kind of turned around. He's been pretty solid. Remember we talked to Charlie.
Very solid, yeah.
Furbush said, hey, I like a lot what I'm seeing, even when he wasn't pitching well. And, and go back and look at the numbers. I was blown away by this, looking at last year, that all of these things that, like ERA, they're number 12, the Mariners are. They were number 1 last year. Same thing with quality starts. I think we're number 50. We only got 12 quality starts. I mean, it's just there's so much upside. And it would be one thing if you're like, okay, I'm hoping that, this guy, that guy, and this guy, come around. We have proven, Castillo is proven. Maybe some people don't think just because, he's young. But, you've seen what Kirby and Gilbert can do. So why would people not be putting two and two together there?
I don't know. Hopefully they all just look really silly at the end of the season. We can replay that segment when we bring DeRosa on and go, hey, there seems to be a big omission here in this whole conversation. Could you pinpoint what it is? I can't quite figure it out. Meanwhile, Rams GM Les Snead on with Rich Eisen says they share their hotel with an unusual event seemingly every time they come to Seattle.
I'm not sure what I'm talking about in that photograph, but I do know this. Not only have we shared a hotel in Seattle with a furry convention, I think we've done it now twice. I think it's been twice. I might be wrong, but you know what? I can't say.
Wait a minute. You're in Seattle and this is the scene with the Rams in town? Really?
Let me tell you this too. You think about a football, it's September, it's October, you get to December football and you really need a lift.
Yeah.
And just think, you've been traveling to the same hotel. It's kind of, it's getting there's some doldrums going on. Then you show up in the lobby there and all of a sudden, you know what? We've got a second win to finish this thing out. There's actually people, these are actually human beings that showed up and dressed like, so it's, and I can say this, if you talk about people who are passionate,
yes,
they're passionate. That's a costume party. That's not just, hey, I had to go to this costume party and get something out of the closet. That's well thought out,
no,
well intended intentionality.
Interesting.
I love it when furries comes up twice in 1 week. Matt is just thrilled by the whole thing.
Why is Matt the guy to go to for that? He's not into that as far as I know.
God, no. Look, you do you, man, but those people are freaks. I'm sorry.
It's grown-up people that dress up in big, huge suits, like mascots, basically.
Dave pretending he doesn't know.
Am I right? I saw a couple pictures.
A couple pictures.
He's talking about the pictures he was in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, let's text in. What would Matt wear if he was a furry?
If
what
you
would
text
be the
in,
best?
It would be Yoda.
It is mean text.
It would be Chewbacca.
I'm not.
That's
There's
right.
got to be a sports thing you guys have to talk about.
No, I'm glad you mentioned a Star Trek character. That's good, Bob. He would be.
See what he's doing.
Chewbacca.
See what he's doing.
See what he's doing.
I think your mic's about to stop working.
Oh, well, I don't know. Les Need made it sound like it helps them. So maybe the local chapter of furries, or however you refer to that group, could move that to another
Freaks.
time. That's Matt. That's not me.
What would a
but
bevy of furries be? You know how they have a flock of seagulls, and
I don't know.
You know, they have a murder of crows. What would be
It's a
group of
gathering. I don't
furries?
know. A herd of furries.
Herd of furries.
I
I don't know.
don't-
We'll figure that out. Text it in. 866-979-3776.
We have a furry expert in the audience.
Well, yeah, absolutely we do.
Yeah. All right. Well, until we get that info, we'll get the inside info on what it's been like in the clubhouse during this series win streak and what she's learned from her conversations with Cal Raleigh each week. Our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer, is going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Goodbye, winter mud. Hello, Dream Yard. Spring is here. Synthetic Turf Northwest has you covered. No more soggy lawns or weekend yard work. Just green, clean, and ready for backyard barbecues, wiffle ball, or kicking back. Synthetic Turf Northwest, the area leader in synthetic grass, residential and commercial installs, plus turf supplies out of our Woodinville warehouse, and soon in Fife, right off I-5. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com today.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, H-A-R-L-E-Y, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer even sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you back goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, you get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business tonight. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll send Luis Castillo out to the hill. You'll catch all of the action of that one beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show right here. Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, games that are underway right now. Top of the second in Pittsburgh. No score between the Braves and the Pirates. They're in the bottom of the second in Texas, where the Tigers and Rangers, no score there as well. Top of the first in Washington, Cardinals up 2-0 on the Nationals. Still to come, Rays playing host to the Brewers. It's Cubs on the road taking on the Mets. Phillies in Cleveland to face the Guardians. Royals hosting the Red Sox. White Sox playing host to the Marlins. Astros and Reds get together in Houston. The Giants and Twins in Minnesota. It's the Rockies looking for win number 7 on the season. They are 6-31. They are hosting the San Diego Padres. Angels in Anaheim playing host to the Orioles. Dodgers and Diamondbacks in Arizona. And last one of the night will be the A's playing host to the New York Yankees.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. You got the Mariners and Blue Jays getting set to kick things off. Game 1 of their 3-game series. We'll turn you to the pregame show coming up at 5:30. And joining us now on set is our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Hello, Shannon.
Hi, guys.
What's the give us the vibe in that clubhouse coming off of 9 consecutive series wins? Is it just singing and dancing and cartwheels? What's happening in there?
Backflips, jugglers,
clowns, yeah.
accordion music. Yeah. You know what? I think they are. They're obviously having a good time. Winning is fun. They have a lot of belief in each other, so it's even better to win when you like the guys that are around you. I think that it is now kind of to where it's a point where, okay, this is who we are. And so, it's not one of those we have to over-celebrate because we don't celebrate very often or anything like that. It's just an absolutely fantastic group that are together, that they do celebrate the wins, and then they get on to the next game, and they don't worry about too much right now. They've been so tested with the players that they've lost, and to pick up how many times now and keep going and keep winning. I think they're in a really, really good place.
All right, I'm gonna go right off the bat with a Julio question, and I'm sure you get those all the time. But
who?
Julio. He's got 6 games in a row with no strikeouts. There was an at bat that he had where he swung at the first pitch, works a walk out of it. I thought maybe that's something, but where do you think he is right now?
I think it's huge. I mean, I don't think you'd ever say he'd go 6 games without a strikeout. I think that's big for him. I think when he makes contact, he is hitting the ball hard. I think trying to get it up in the air perhaps a little bit more is something that's going to help him. But there is no need for him. He's contributing. I mean, he is doing, he's had some hits. It's just not the big hits right now. He's doing great things in the field.
Fantastic fielder, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's not forget that he turned himself into a center fielder. That wasn't their plan. That was his plan. So that's a pretty cool thing right there. He decided, yep, I'm going to play center field, and it's going to be fantastic. And that's what he told me the year before, as down in the minor leagues, which I'm like, okay, kid, you go for it. But I think that, with the progression, with the way that he's going right now, that he's not getting jumpy at the plate, and that he is, his numbers, he's hitting just 300, I think, for the past 8 games. Yeah. So now you look to see, okay, what follows with that. He's doing everything right. Let's see what follows. And there's not a lot of pressure on him because they're winning and everybody is contributing, as is he.
Well, and he's kind of quietly been getting hot. I mean, he's got back-to-back games with multiple hits. He's had at least 1 hit in 14 of the last 18 games. Mm-hmm. As you said, 6 games in a row. Month of May, he's not struck out yet in the month of May. So quietly getting hot.
Neither have we.
Yeah, we got the same number of strikeouts as Julio right now. We're doing well. We're doing really well. How much we've talked a lot about where does the credit go for what we're seeing offensively. It's weird the numbers have completely flipped when you look at where they rank in all these offensive categories. They're top 10 in just about all of them. And you look at where they rank in the pitching categories, and they're middle of the pack to lower. I mean, it's completely flipped from what they've been. But looking at the offense, and specifically you're looking at JP and Polanco, I'm going, all right, how much is Edgar and Seitzer, and how much of it is just these guys being healthy? Both guys that are dealing with injuries, and certainly Polanco still dealing with it up until recently. He's just now hitting from the right side. But how do you divvy up the credit, if you will, for what we're seeing specifically with those guys?
Well, I think it is important what we're seeing from JP, which obviously JP you credit with that, and I credit his patience because he did get off to a slow start. He didn't change anything, and so now there's a lot of confidence in what he's doing. Polanco's a little bit different in that they made a change with him that has really paid off. What he's doing is stance at the plate and, then pick up the approach from there. But that's been huge for him, and that go ahead and credit the coaches, and Edgar and Seitz are taking a look at, you're way too open there, there's too much movement, let's close that up a little bit, see what happens, and now he can stay up the middle more, and it's something that's really paid off for him. And he's hit the ball hard every time he makes contact. He's been making a ton of contact, which is great. So he's kind of a mix of both. But then it is the approach plays into it. The simplifying of everything plays into it. And the more I see it, the more I kind of realize how complicated everything was last year. And, just kind of peel away the things that they don't need. And it helps when you're looking for credit that, again, they're all sticking with the plan. And you don't have any one guy or any one section of the lineup that, man, if they don't get it here, they're not going to get a run. So that kind of all of a sudden contributes to what they're able to do as individuals. And then when everybody's doing it, then you are a real threat to the pitcher on the other side. There are just no breaks. It's like you have the big guys at the top. They've got a good 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and the guys at the bottom are pesky. And so you just can't let up on the other side. And, they've forced, we talk about some of the good pitchers that they've gotten to. Maybe it plays out tonight against Gosman. And you're like, why are they able to get to these guys? Well, part of it is the at-bats are so good. They get those starters into situations that they're not in very much. They're not used to having to go 4, 5, 6 deep and more with a pitcher. And sometimes they get out of their game a little bit, or sometimes they end up, flipping something up there that they shouldn't, and they're ready for it. And so I think that, there are the individual performances as we talked about, but I think that the fact that they were able to come up with a philosophy and we're going to simplify, and this is how we're going to do it, and then get the buy-in, and there's coaching that goes into that. You have to have the trust of your players. It's a very collaborative effort.
It's very cool to watch, just because when you see an athlete get unlocked, it's like something was holding him back, and I think we might get that with the Seahawks this year and their quarterback. But what do you make of Bryce Miller and just some of the things that he's said, talking about tightness and physical things, and get the feeling that it's mental, but I'm not with him on the road. What have you seen from him? What do you make of that?
It's really amazing, and it's kind of the beauty and sometimes the worst part of this sport. At any time, the player can make it look as easy as it possibly can be, and that was Bryce Miller for 4 months last year. He had a rocky first 2 months of the season, and then was one of the best pitchers in baseball after that, and really didn't make huge adjustments. A lot of that was more on the mental side, and just kind of recommitting to some things and really kind of honing in on what he was doing and not trying to do too much out there. And the struggle that he's gotten off to, none of us saw it in spring training. So that's got to be even more of a shock for him, because he puts in the work in the offseason, looked fine in spring training, and I think he's to a point where, it's hard to go out there when you're not feeling good, but it's your job. If you're not injured, there's a big difference between actually being hurt and injured and just not feeling good or being sore or something like that. So I think, that makes it that much tougher for him. And I think you do start to see a little bit of a snowball. You see him fight because he's not giving up home runs right now. He's not giving up a ton of runs in most outings. It's just a matter of you need more than 4 innings from him. It's taking a lot to get through it. His out pitches aren't as sharp as they were, so he's, I think it all kind of snowballs with him. And you do wonder, do you stop? Do you start over? What do you do? Yeah. And then I remember he worked his way out of it. It wasn't as extreme last year, but he did work his way out of it last year. So I think because of what we're seeing, that I think maybe this might fall into he needs one good outing. Yeah. Let's see where it goes from there.
What are your the bullpen has been interesting because Munoz has just been phenomenal. Just love the guy as a person and as a player, obviously. But getting Brash back is huge. It looks like they're very deliberate in how they're going to use him, and we'll see what the pace is going to be like. But in high leverage situations that perhaps he's not available, who do you like there? For me, it's Vargas or it's Spire, I guess, depending on a lefty, what happens. But those are the two arms I trust the most outside of Munoz in that bullpen. But what if Munoz, say he's gone a couple nights in a row, they need somebody else to close, and then Brash isn't there, who's your guy?
I think what Vargas did the other day in Sacramento was one of the highlights of the season for me. I mean, just seeing a guy that barely made the team, like, he wasn't on everybody's ballot to get the final spot in that bullpen. And, ton of good stuff and ton of talent, no options. So he would be gone if somebody had picked him up at that point. And command had been an issue with him all of the time. And now the command is not an issue, and the great stuff is there. And the confidence is building. And I also love that he can give you multiple innings if you need it. He's done that a few times. So I think that he's gained trust rapidly. And the other thing that we've seen with him that I really like is that if he does get into trouble, he doesn't crumble. He kind of plows through it. And we saw that. He was pitching after pitching 2 innings the night before in Game 3 in Sacramento, got the 2 strikeouts. It looked, he was this close to striking out the side. And the next thing you know, he's got 2 base runners in a 2-run game. and he came back and he got the out, and it was fantastic. So I feel good about that. I feel good about Spire in just about any situation. He hasn't been available every game. I think he's had some minor dings and dents early on. So I think that kind of plays into when you don't see him. I think that has something to do with it. And I think that Brash you're going to be careful about. I don't know if Cal talking about Brash made the Wyman and Bob edit.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting and very insightful that, he doesn't expect Brash to be the Brash that we saw 2 years ago for some time. That's going to take some time in working into it and getting into situations and getting all the feels, he said. And so I thought that was interesting. So they will continue to be careful with him, and I'm not sure what to expect when he gets into the games right now.
Whatever questions you're asking Cal, he just is opened up and spills out. We thought he was a man of few words, but done a good job with those. What's the most interesting thing you've learned from Cal?
Did the cowboy boot story make the edit?
Yeah, we heard that one.
You were unprepared.
So the trainer needed to help him take his boots off?
Yes,
right?
because he forgot the what do you call it, a boot jack or a shoe jack? A shoehorn. He wears the boots when we go to Texas, and sometimes the cowboy hat too. And he got new boots, and why wouldn't he? He deserves some new boots. Why not? And they got him, and apparently they had to get pulled off in the lobby.
So what, you need a special tool to take cowboy boots off?
Brand new ones, probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard the Cowboys will put on their boots and then fill them with water and walk around with
to break them in?
Yeah, for like a day.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
that sounds like way too much work.
Straight on the IL if you do that. Yeah. I don't want to see that happen at all.
Wow. When you talk to him, do you let him know how much Dave loves him, or does that ever come up?
No, I could. I'm open to questions and topics. So if you would like me to bring that up.
Doesn't everybody love Cal?
Yes.
Most of us love him, and then there's you. It's a different level, Dave.
Yeah. Don't make it creepy. He's making it creepy, Shannon.
No, but everybody does love Cal for good reason. And I'm curious, what do you think of his defense this year? We all focus on his offense, but just his, throwing runners out, his pitch framing. Throwing runners out is always a hard one because I think we automatically look at the catcher when they don't beat the runner, and often we're not paying attention to the pitcher who's not maybe doing a great job of holding the runner on. They're slow to the plate. But just from your perspective, that part of his game.
I think it's where it should be. I like that. I talked to the Munoz I think early on in the road trip, and he said that's been a big focus of his. That's where he's at. And usually that's the last thing a reliever gets to is controlling the running game. And he said it wasn't fair for Cal. And so he wanted to step up his game the rare times that he was getting runners on base right now. So that certainly helps. I think his awareness out there has been good. I have not looked at the pitch framing numbers, so I'll be honest on that. I'm assuming they're where they should be. So nothing has stood out either way with him. He's got, is he going to win another platinum glove this year? He set the bar awfully high last year.
Yeah, he did.
Well, when you look at predictions, Shannon, we just, we had, who was it that predicted? Oh, it was our guy DeRosa, picked someone other than the Mariners in the AL West. But you look at the offensive numbers being, way outstripping the pitching numbers. And the pitching part of it, you got to get Bryce Miller worked out, but you've got Logan coming back and you've got Kirby coming back. I don't know. I just surprised that people aren't looking at that and making more, predictions of Mariners winning the AL West. It's kind of surprising to me.
Well, I think particularly with Logan and with Kirby, I've got to see him on the mound in a big league game before I feel 100% with that. Kirby, you feel really good about right now. We've seen him around quite a bit, and he's just raring to go. Yeah. They're going to make him he starts tomorrow in Tacoma. They're going to make him throw one more after that, and I think that's a good idea. And I think there's no question they can do it because the club's kept things up for them. It's like, hey, don't worry, we'll be here when you're ready. Know, and that's huge. That's not putting pressure on anybody to do anything. And then Logan, it seems like everything is going well, but, you still just hold your breath on that until you see him just really unleash everything in a big league game. So I don't want to put the horse ahead? The cart ahead.
Cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah, horse stays behind the cart. No, horse is in front of the cart.
Front of the cart, that's right.
Yes. is.
Keep the cart behind the horse.
I like how you talked that
best.
through. You talked it through. That's good.
You don't see many carts and horses anymore. So I'm
Hey, one of the guys that I think is a bit of an unsung hero has been Emerson Hancock. I mean, the first appearance obviously was a disaster. It didn't go well. He gets sent down after 2/3 of an inning. And he comes back, and he's exactly what he was last season outside of 2 starts. He was a guy that was just consistently 5 to 6 innings, 2 to 3 runs, quality starts, his ceiling doesn't seem as high as the rest of the rotation, looking at Kirby and Logan and those guys. He's not as electric, if you will, but he's so rock steady that I feel like every time you send him out to the hill, you know what you're going to get. He's going to keep you in the game. Just your thoughts on what you've seen from him post that first start.
Yeah, I saw it in spring training, too. The first start was just, you have to throw it away. And I don't think that he really changed much. I think he just kind of went to work down in Tacoma. But he's in a place right now where he feels that he belongs. And it's an odd position for him to be in because there just really isn't a spot. And let's remember, he's a first rounder. He was the guy. He was the first pick. And to see him kind of work his way through all of this and get up to the big leagues, the first time and find out that he doesn't quite have everything he needs for it. It's very north-south. He has plus changeup, but if that's not on, he might be in trouble. Needs to have that four-seamer at the top rail, and sometimes he doesn't have that, and then that can be a bit of a problem. And he's also a guy that's going to he needs to put the ball in play. He's not a strikeout guy, which is a scary thing to do at the big league level. That means you gotta go after everybody. We're seeing him do that, and he's also worked on a bunch of different breaking pitches in the offseason. It looks like he's kind of zeroed in on the slider and the sweeper, and some starts the slider is better and some starts the sweeper is better. He'll usually use both of them. I'm interested to see where he goes because I don't think he's quite a finished project yet. Either or, it's a project ahead of the cart.
It's a project that's in the cart. Right
in the
now.
Cart with the horse, and so I want to see if those pitches, he's legitimately added them to his arsenal. Are they something that are going to benefit him, and what that does overall for his repertoire and what he is able to do at the big league level? I think the mental part is there, and that's a big part of it.
So was it as Mickey Mouse in Sacramento as you thought it would be? As my dad used to call things that were like cheesy or cheap or...
Yeah, I had to be reminded because it was all about me the first day and all the hassles that I had to deal with and danger, all-out danger, to get to the clubhouse where you did nothing in front of the dugout on that side of a stadium early in the day. Everything was over on the other side because that's where the clubhouse was and the batting cages were. But to get there, you had to walk around the warning track. Well, I don't like sitting here while they're taking batting practice. I don't like walking around.
They were taking batting practice.
Yes, every time. It's like you'd have to go back there twice, probably each game, and you could be a target. And
Did you wear a helmet?
No, and I
have a glove?
survived. I took Freddie Janos with me, and I'm like, you were protecting me.
Poor Freddie.
He's just a
He's
big
going to dive in
target.
front of. He's like a Secret Service.
Yeah.
He said he would. I'm not sure he would for sure. Luckily, that didn't. So that I didn't like. But somebody reminded me, yeah, but what was it like for the fans? I'm like, oh, the fans.
Oh, yeah, them.
I ended up getting behind home plate for the third game for the walk-off interview, and there was a fan, and I'm like, are these your tickets? And he said, yes. And can you imagine getting to sit that close? It's like cut the distance in half to home plate here, and that's where he's sitting. And it's just like you can see pitches like nowhere else. He's just 20 feet behind the catcher, if that. And to see every big league team come in and to have that view, and even anywhere in the stadium, because there's no deck, I mean, you've got a great seat everywhere. You're not going to get closer in most instances, or if you want to go sit out on a berm like spring training, but these are real games.
Yeah.
And it is different. So along those lines, it was cool. I think that the
Clubhouse is nicer than the Coliseum, right?
it's smaller. The locker room area is smaller, but everything else, from what everybody said, was upgraded from. It wasn't as old. It was newer. They actually have a kitchen in there. They didn't have a kitchen in the other ones. So I think the guys were fine with that. But, I mean, it was just a funny sight to see, what was it, the fourth inning when all the pinch hitters ran across the field. We're all like, where are they going?
Cal
Gary's
and Rowdy and all
they have to, they're going to the cages, and then that's all I do the next two innings is watch the center field wall to see when they come back, because you don't see that. So it's pretty wild. We'll see how long they're there.
Hey, give me a quick thought before you leave on Dan Wilson. in how you think he's done this year. He's had a couple of moments where I've been in front of the TV going, I don't understand. But for the most part, I mean, look, the results are the results. They're in first place. They're winning.
Exactly.
But just from your perspective, how do you feel like he's been doing?
Yeah, same thing. I think there have been a couple of inexplicable moves. And, he said that game in Sacramento was on him. Okay, good enough. Move on. Bullpen moves, and I always caution because you do not know who is available. But
Right.
he has, I think, tried to put people into more solid roles, and maybe that's why they're having the success that they're having right now. He has not brought Munoz in for an extra inning type save situation yet, which I think is good. He said he's not opposed to it. It's more been he hasn't seen too many instances where he would need to do that. I think there were one or two where it could have been considered, but I think he's really kind of solidifying things. We see it in the lineup. The top of the lineup has been the same. Substitutions have been pretty much the same. And I do think that kind of settles a player a little bit. Be a reliever, be a guy in the lineup, be a starter, be a backup. I think that perhaps helps a little bit. And on Dan's part, he's got to have patience when he does that, particularly at the beginning of the year. And I think he's shown a lot of that, and I think it's being rewarded.
Shannon, we appreciate it, as always.
You've got it. I've got to go talk to the folks in Toronto now.
Okay, go talk to
Want me
Toronto.
to pass on a message or anything?
We hope they lose.
Tell them to shut their fans up.
And enjoy their time here, despite the losses.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Shannon. There's our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer, joining us here on set. Meanwhile, does the Seahawks pick of Gray Zabels signal a change in how they prioritize the O-line? We're going to weigh in on that. Coming up next, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here from my new friends at Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years, and I'm really excited to work with Harley Exteriors because these guys are my kind of people. I had Ray, Chris, and Nick out to my house, and they were out there to see what they could do for us. We've been in the same house for 24 years, and pretty much every window in our home has a broken seal. So Harley Exteriors, they have an exclusive high-quality Euro vinyl Olympic Series window, and it's manufactured right here in Washington. And these windows are designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. And it's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And right now, through the month of May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. And I'm proud to be working with Ray, Chris, and Nick at Harley Exteriors. It's a team you can get behind. So get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more. They're right here in the Puget Sound. Give them a call at 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY. Or you can go to harleyexteriors.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple 1-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Full details and disclaimer.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Shannon Drayer, our Mariners insider, who joined us in the previous segment. If you guys are just tuning in and missed that conversation or any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture, click on that, and you'll find it waiting for you right there. We do have Mean Text coming up at 5:15 today. How are they doing, Lefko? Anything coming in that's caught your eye?
No, they're always terrible.
Right.
You know, the texters are just not very bright. They don't know how to... You know, Bob, there's a complex emotion called humor, and you need to be of a certain intelligence to do that. And I'm just a little concerned that
they don't
texters...
possess it?
Yeah, I don't think our texters are up to snuff.
A little
in that regard.
concerned.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just a little concerned.
Well, let's see what they can do. You got.
I love it when Lefko, he's typically just the nicest guy in the world, but when it comes to the texters.
Oh, he just lets them have it.
Oh, man.
Gloves are off. Gloves are off when it comes to the texters. All right, 866-979-3776. Any mean text you've got, let it fly. We've got them coming up at 5:15 today. Meanwhile, just talking about the Seahawks and looking at what they did in the draft by going guard with their first overall pick, which was number 18 overall. We were talking about this yesterday with Mark Schlereth. Another great conversation. If you guys missed, is on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But he talked about, we were sort of, I remember saying, I've said it to you, like, man, I can't believe we're all celebrating a guard being their first round pick. It just feels weird. It's so anticlimactic. It's not the glamour position, but it was such a need that it was a relief for so many fans. And Mark was breaking down why modern offenses have led to interior linemen becoming just that much more important.
Guards have been getting paid, and I mean paid handsomely. And I think part of the whole concept is, one, a lot of the NFL is the quick passing game. It's really morphed in from the college game, right? So it's all this quick three-step, out of gun, got to have a strong pocket. You got to have a pocket that doesn't get pushed in the lap of the quarterback, and the guy's got to be able to step up, get away from those edge rushers who are the best, and find avenues to throw the ball and to manipulate the pocket inside.
Yeah, I'm glad you played it again, because I kind of blanked out yesterday when we were talking to him about offensive guards being important. But yeah,
tuned him out once the word guard came into the conversation.
It's pretty weird though. If you look at the salary cap numbers or the franchise tag numbers.
Yeah,
the guards, man, have climbed up there. So it's the shortest way to the quarterback, right? I mean, it's right through the middle of your line. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that. I wonder if there's going to be kind of a pendulum swing back to valuing not only guards but running backs as well. We've talked about that all the time, but right now it's firmly on quarterbacks and receivers, and then those guys that can cover them, edge rushers right up there. But yeah, offensive guard, just I'll be very curious to see. So we talked to Mark yesterday about, how many guys do you have to have? What if you have 3 of the 5 that are super solid? How much can they help those around them? And I think that will be interesting to see, and maybe a guard just develops. The guy I really want to see is Anthony Bradford more than anybody else. And then I'd like to see that Jalen Sundell kid go at center, and that way you'd have 2 North Dakota State players there. But
what about Christian Haynes?
Yeah, Haynes I don't know about. I didn't see. I mean, he looked really good early on. But you know what? I'd say everybody is kind of up for grabs, because, like I said, there was a lot of people that did not like Ryan Grubb's offense on that offense.
One more from Mark here, where he's talking about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and he said that was a great example of why you need to be strong in the interior.
You always talk about some of the trends and some of the things that happen in the NFL. I think that's one of the trends that I've noticed the last couple of years is, like, we have got to have strength in the pocket. And if you don't, your quarterback is never comfortable. You can look at the Super Bowl. Look what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. I mean, they got shoved around in the pocket, and, Mahomes had no escape lanes, no escapability. And
yeah.
that was very, very obvious. And, and look, I think a lot was talked about as far as Philadelphia's D-line and how they had second-string D-line as good as anybody else in the league. So there was certain, but no, he's right. The interior part, like I said, the quickest path to the quarterback is right up the middle. And so, yeah, I mean, that's become more and more. It kind of worries me, though, him saying that, because those are the 2 positions where we don't really feel like we have a strength.
Yeah.
Right guard and center.
Yeah, and it's still up for grabs who's going to occupy those spots. And, we're looking, during free agency, it was sort of like Will Fries and everybody else is kind of how that crowd went. And obviously it's much better if you can draft and develop these guys rather than shop on the free agent market, because of the price tag that's associated with these guys as well. And Mark addressed that back in early March, explaining why good O-linemen just don't hit free agency.
Yeah, I think you have to draft. You have to hope to be able to draft and develop. And most of the guys that are allowed on offensive lines to hit the free agent market usually are not that good. But I always say this about free agency anyhow, especially the first wave of free agency. You're usually spending A-plus money on B-minus players. Most guys have some flaws in their game, whether it's personality issues, whether it's injury issues, whatever the case may be, most guys have some flaws in their game.
A-plus money on B-plus players.
Yeah, well, Schneider said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. But, yeah, I think the other thing that gives me a little bit of pause, Mark also told us at one point that, and we'll see how, I expect to see lots of violence out there when camp starts and the pads go on, because I think, number one, Mike McDonald is that kind of guy. But
who enjoys violence?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He does. And I think
I like that about him.
Yeah, me too. And the other thing is, you know, I don't know, we had somebody that was on that was talking, I felt the same way. Like, go out there, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, go out there and watch the guys run around in jerseys and shorts. You can't really tell anything.
Right.
You've got to get the pads on. And I'm not trying to, you know, like beat these guys up or anything, but I mean, you have to, the only way to practice, you know, picking up a first down is to go and do it. I'm sorry, you can't do it with shorts and a jersey on.
But they're only allowed so much contact, right?
Well,
I mean, it's,
and I think they need to push, you know, right up against that. You know, I think Pete was really good at taking care of the players and everything, but you remember I brought this up a number of times, but Dan Campbell in Hard Knocks, where he's like, guys, I don't want to have to do this, but we have to, and his guys bought in. And so I think this is probably a group that will buy in.
Was he doing it more than, I mean, so was, I guess, I remember the comment, and at the time it didn't occur to me, but then I'm thinking, all right, well, wait a minute. Every team is only allowed so many days of hitting, right? Mandated by the league. So what was he apologizing for? Was he doing it more than another team would? Like, is Pete giving his guys more days off? Or
number one, just having watched practice over the years, I wasn't sitting there keeping track, but I feel like Pete probably gave guys off or go like, hey, let's just go have speed on this and just get our fits. We're all professionals. We don't need this. Whereas Campbell, you know, he's like, we got to go like even tackle to the ground, I think they were doing, which you never do that in practice.
Right.
I mean, it was always thud tempo, what we called it. You know, you hit at the line of scrimmage, get off your block, and then, you know, try to just tag the guy or whatever. But
and the running back keep running.
Yeah.
And you'd be going, son of a gun.
And then every once in a while you have to knock one on their butt and get in trouble from the coach. But, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see them pushing the envelope. I don't expect them to be getting fined right and left or losing draft choices because they're going too physical in practice. But I think, you know, Pete had a tendency to like, hey, guys, we're vets. And he was right. You know, we don't need to go full speed and go out there and get all banged up. But, you know, so he'd kind of back off. So I think McDonald's going to kind of push that edge, and they're going to need to.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys missed anything on the show or you just want to go watch it all over again, I don't blame you. You can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms. Find on any segments we've had with or conversations with interviews with Seahawks players, Mariner players, whoever we've talked to. It's all up there for you. So check it out, and it's all totally free.
I'll bet you Matt goes home and listens to the show over.
Oh, I know he does.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think he loves it so much. The first pass through, he's like, let me make sure I didn't miss anything.
Make sure you get the hour where the furries were mentioned.
I'm barely even listening the first time this show is on. You expect me to listen a second time?
Our greatest supporter right there. Meanwhile, there's a sports and Catholicism crossover that has taken the country by storm. We're going to hear about that. We sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park at Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do. Incredible comeback again from this group. At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays. With Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run. Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits. It's Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, first I thought Dave would be excited to hear from his guy, Mark DeRosa, because you mentioned the ship analogy, but then we heard that he didn't really like the Mariners. So I don't know how you feel about this, but yeah, Mark DeRosa was very thorough about assigning every part of a Mariner to a ship, and he talked about his unsung heroes portion of the team here.
And then we need a bunch of deckhands to keep the people entertained, catch some fish, keep everybody in good spirits. You watch Below Deck? We're going to start it out with Randy Arozarena. He's keeping everybody in good spirits. How about Rowdy Tellez? He seems like a jolly, nice guy. And hit a huge 3-run bomb to get them back in the game. 7 for 20 with a homer and 6 RBIs over his last 6 games. Friend of the show, Dylan Moore's been fantastic. Revelation. You can argue he's the best utility player in the game. 295 with 6 bombs and an 896 OPS. And Robert, I know my man Brian Wu gave up some runs yesterday, but he gave him 6 strong. He's 13. Yes, he's 13-4 with a 299.
Sounds like he's in love with Dylan Moore.
He is friend of the show, and then they don't even mention him in their panel. They don't even mention the Mariners. After all of that love.
Well, yeah, DeRosa is dead to us now because he picked Houston to win the AL West.
Yeah, they talked about the A's, talked about the Astros, not the Mariners or the Angels.
A's could be the second best team in this division, but yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. The one thing that it kind of brought to mind, I mean, it's always kind of silly, right? You saw the picture. They put Cal in the captain's hat with the pipe and everything, but you know, then they're like pulling up the crab pots, and so they show these crab pots, and there's Kirby and there's Logan Gilbert, and you know, just kind of it's something that's coming. You know, we don't know for sure. Shannon said she was pretty confident about Kirby, but not so much about Logan, that we got to get through it. But like, I don't know how much longer could it be? I mean, I feel like with Gilbert's, his was kind of, it's not like he had surgery or anything like that.
No, and I don't know if they feel like he's going to need a rehab start, 2 rehab starts with Kirby, who's been out.
Taking the second one, right?
Yeah, and I think Shannon told us he might get one more after that.
Yeah.
But with him, it makes more sense because he hasn't been here since the beginning of the season. They shut him down in spring training.
Right.
So obviously Logan went through spring training, the beginning of the season, got a number of starts under his belt, so maybe they don't feel like he needs as much in terms of ramping. I don't know. Well, I'm just throwing that out there, but we'll see. Hopefully both of them are here soon.
Yeah, it was just surprising that he didn't pick the Mariners, but it was kind of funny. The boat was called the SS Dumper.
Sweeping the dial.
Not sure I thought we'd ever be talking about this. So the new Pope is from Chicago. Everyone's very excited about that. And then all the sports jokes kept flying about, hey, the first Pope to ever have called into sports talk radio. First Pope to ever have complained about the Bears. The Cubs tried to claim him, though. So the Cubs put out a big sign on their marquee saying, you know, the Pope is a Cubs fan. Well, they did some research, and NBC Chicago interviewed the brother of the new Pope, and he says, no, he's a White Sox fan.
Yeah, he was never, ever a Cubs fan, so I don't know where that came from. He was always a Sox fan. Our mother was a Cubs fan. I don't know, maybe that clued in there. And our dad was a Cardinals fan, so I don't know where that all came from. And all the aunts, our mom's family was from the North Side, so that's why they were Cubs fans.
But he rooted for the White Sox.
That's right. But where it came from, I don't know, because he would have been the only one.
You're from Chicago. You know the sort of personalities of those two fan bases?
Yeah, they're very different.
I know you're not from Chicago, but you were there for a number of years.
Yeah, I was there for a little over 5 years. Yeah, they're very different. I guess you would call the White Sox fans more the blue-collar fan, if you will, and the Cubs fans are often referred to as the snootier, the younger, the party crowd. It's
You said blue-collar? I thought you said white trash.
No, that was your inference.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not something I would say on the air. But yeah, it's a different. There's a clear distinction between the fan bases, certainly. And the new Pope is he's rooting for a team full of losers, apparently. dreadful team last year. They've got 10 wins this year. Good for him, though. Hanging tough with his team.
I like that.
He's got enough pride in his team to say, look, I'm with them. Doesn't matter what they're doing.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, everyone was talking about the George Pickens trade, and Ryan Clark had a pretty interesting breakdown. He said it's pretty telling that if Mike Tomlin, who has coached some characters, doesn't want to deal with George Pickens, well, that's saying something.
Mike Tomlin consistently says he doesn't run from coaching. He doesn't run from teaching. He doesn't run from grooming. And so if George Pickens, with that immense amount of talent, can no longer exist in that locker room, it's going to be difficult for him to exist anywhere. And we're looking at a Jerry Jones who doesn't make moves very often in the offseason, now saying at this price, I have to make this move if I want to make my team better. And so to me, it's how do you handle him? To me, it's how do you incorporate him into the locker room? And we heard Shadi talk recently about the way he moved Dak Prescott and Michael Parsons' lockers next to one another. He better be focused on doing those things and making sure that George Pickens gets the football as well, because it seems that he could tear down a locker room.
Yeah, well, I would imagine he would be on his best behavior because he's in the final year of his deal. And he wants a big, fat deal, and he feels like he's one of the great receivers, even though his numbers don't quite tell that story. He's a young guy. But, yeah, that's a pretty interesting point that Mike Tomlin has dealt with some knuckleheads, certainly, and the king of all is Antonio Brown, who's just, beyond the word knucklehead. So he dealt with him and others, certainly. But to say, Pickens, enough, you're out, that says something for Tomlin.
Says a lot. Yeah, on Bump and Stacy, I heard Pickens interviewed, and he did a really good job. He sounded very mature about the whole thing because, the message from Tomlin is that he needs to grow up. And so he said, yeah, it's growth. I need to grow into being a Cowboy receiver and this and that. He totally took the high road on it, which I was kind of surprised. But, yeah, he sounded good. So maybe it is kind of a wake-up call for him. But
yeah, maybe his agent, people around him got to him going, look, man, this is a pivotal year in your career. Again, the final year of your deal. You want to be paid like one of the big boys, you got to act like one of the big boys. You got to play like one.
Yeah.
And you can't go in there with an attitude. You can't go in there thinking you're running the show, because you're not.
If I was an agent, I would have like a list of knuckleheads that could have made it. It was the quarterback that we just talked about, and I was like, oh, he came out of UCLA and he thought he was...
Oh, Josh Rosen.
He's a classic example. And just, get a list of those guys. Like, here's a guy that could have been in the league for 15 years as a backup quarterback, maybe fight to be a starter, and couldn't keep his mouth shut. Couldn't get out of his own way. And, yeah, I feel like that's what George Pickens needs. The fact that he's a receiver, give him low odds that he's able to do that. But, yeah, it's amazing how you see guys just entirely destroy their career just because of their personality.
That was emblematic of how things have gone for the Blue Jays. They tried to toss the ball over to one of their fans and came up just a bit short. And it fell into the little crevice here between the wall and the railing. Unfortunately, the Blue Jay fan didn't come up with the ball. So just sort of how things have gone.
Thinking they just got off the bus.
I think you're probably right, yeah. All right, meanwhile, he's got a couple of starts under his belt. We're going to get a chance to speak to rookie pitcher Logan Evans about all of that. Plus, we got mean text coming up, so you still have some time at 866-979-3776, powered by us, by God, by us. Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
ESPN Baseball Insider Jeff Passan.
Big picture with the Seattle Mariners. What jumps out with this crew?
They're good. This is a game based around how many home runs you can hit and how many home runs you can prevent. And over the last calendar month, since they bottomed out at 3-7, Seattle Mariners hitters have hit the most home runs in all of Major League Baseball. Seattle Mariners starters have allowed the second fewest.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. next island. Or possibility number 24, the latest software upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. And joining us now on set, a man who's already received a standing ovation when he walked in here. It's tough to top that, but we'll see what we can do. Rookie pitcher Logan Evans is here. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
How cool is that? You walk in and people just start clapping. I'm sure that happens everywhere in life. But look at this.
It's a pretty cool thing to have such great fans, obviously, here at T-Mobile, and yeah, I don't think I'll ever get used to it, but I enjoy it every time for sure.
Yeah, what have you noticed about this fan base based on some of the places that you've been? I know you're from Michigan originally, but it's a pretty dedicated group here.
Oh, absolutely. Just like you said, they're pretty dedicated. They love the Mariners, and obviously when we're playing well, they're right behind us, so I enjoy it.
What was the dream growing up? Was it always to be a pitcher? Were you a shortstop? Were you a fielder? What was the dream, and who did you sort of emulate?
That's a good question. I actually grew up wanting to be a third baseman. I wanted to hit pumps and show off my arm at third base, but I don't think my athletic ability gave me that. So I went over to the mound and took well to that. I think growing up, my favorite player was Brandon Inge when I was watching the Tigers when I was younger. So yeah, that was a dream, but didn't come to fruition, but still got here. Just at a different position.
Tell us about the clubhouse and just some of the guys that have either come up and talked to you or you've consulted just to, what's it like being a big leaguer? Tell us about how that's gone for you. Anybody stand out?
Yeah, well, this clubhouse is super close, tight-knit group. I felt welcome from day one. Gotten to talk to a lot of them. Rowdy is a guy who stands out. He's a veteran leader. JP as well, and then Julio. I mean, he's a big guy, obviously, big personality as well, but we've gotten pretty close and got to talk a lot. And then on the pitching side, it's just Logan, honestly, all of them, George, Brian, Luis Castillo we're pretty close too. So they're super welcoming, like I said, tight-knit group, and I think we're definitely going places for sure.
What'd you take, just 2 starts to go on so far? First one goes really well. Second one got touched up a little bit. Was it more about, I'm catching too much of the plate, I made a mistake with this particular hitter? What'd you take away from that?
Yeah, the numbers, I think, looked a little worse than I felt like when I walked out of the outing. I felt like there were some things I definitely wanted to take back, maybe a pitch or two, but realistically, through the first 2, I felt like I was executing my game plan, using all my pitches, and then on top of that, really just when I get into advantage counts, throwing quality pitches. I think out of the 11 hits in the last outing, I think 6 of them were like under 80 miles per hour. So it was just kind of a bad luck thing. But yeah, I don't think I'm changing too much. I think I went back out there, got 2 zeros, which was good. And that's kind of my game. Like there's going to be some times it doesn't go my way, but I'm never going to just like fold and give in to whatever happening. I'm just going to keep going out there and grinding for my guys.
Do you shake off Cal, Logan?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
I've always been taught, like, it's your game. You have the ball. Lights are on you, Yeah. Obviously, Cal's a great catcher. He's got the platinum glove, so I'm working on it a little bit and just shaking the head yes. But there are some times for sure I definitely want to throw my pitch.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, again, 2T, you're going to pitch tomorrow, right?
Yep.
I think you're scheduled for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Are there individual players you kind of daydreamed about facing? Like, I can't wait, maybe somebody on the Tigers perhaps, but outside of that, are there players on different teams you look at and go, I hope I get a chance to face that guy?
Yeah, I think there's 2 guys that, like, I definitely feel like I'll be starstruck almost in a sense, but I want to hopefully pitch against Justin Verlander. Obviously, matching up against DeGrom in my second start was really cool. But Verlander is my guy. I grew up watching him when I was younger. And then I want to face Ohtani. Obviously, he's the best in the world. I mean, the way he plays the game and all his skill sets are so impressive. So I'm hoping to face him soon, too.
Hey, we've been talking the last few days about Jacob Wilson and just his approach. And, Is that distracting at all? I mean, he's moving around so much. I mean, are there those kinds of things that you just, like anybody behind the plate or whatever, just block it out?
Yeah, there's things you notice, but I don't think it really throws you off. When you're out there and you're just in the zone, it's almost like the fans too. Like you feel the vibration, either good or bad, but it doesn't really throw you off your game plan. You kind of stick to it. For Wilson, obviously, he's got that whole shake and bake thing.
Yeah.
I didn't get to face him, but from the dugout, it looked like it would kind of like, you'd notice it, but it wouldn't really throw you off too much.
Okay. Was there anything in these 2 starts that you walked away from going, whoa, I didn't expect that? Or maybe it's the strike zone of the ump, they're not giving me the corner the way they did in the minor leagues? Or anything that you took away that was a little surprising?
Nothing negative. I thought positives when I walked away is like the first outing, I felt like even after letting up that home run in the first, it's like the same game. If I just get ahead, I can have success. And then facing Corey Seager, obviously one of the better hitters in the league, I threw him a sweeper for a first pitch, and he swung and missed out of his shoes. And I was like, you know what? Like, my stuff plays. Like, I just have to have confidence with it and trust that the game plan that the coaches and Cal give me, and then obviously what I do out there is going to create success if I have confidence in it.
Logan, I'll say this this was many, many decades ago, but I was a good rookie. I was a good, because I kept my mouth shut. Are you a good rookie?
Yeah, I would say I'm a good rookie.
Yeah.
I definitely talk with the guys and razz with them, and I get the stuff that they give me. But yeah, I think I'm a pretty good rookie.
You do a good job. You're meant to be seen and not heard, they say.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you said you looked up to Brandon Inge as a young guy, obviously position player. Who are the pitchers that you look at and go, man, that's the kind of game I want to have, or I want to mimic some of what they do?
Yeah. I think growing up with that same like Tigers flow is, like I mentioned, Verlander, but also Scherzer. That entire staff in the 2013 to 2015 era was like incredible, but they were all so dialed in on their game plan, and they believed what they threw was going to create success. And that's kind of what I emulate myself after. I don't really throw mechanically like any of them, and I'm not super fiery like Scherzer, but I feel like when I'm out there, I'm like dialed in and zoned in on what I want to do, and that's what I took from them.
Growing up, did you play other sports, Logan? What were you good at other than baseball, obviously?
I like to think I was good at everything. But yeah, I played basketball, I played football, both through my high school. I wanted to be a quarterback, but like I said, like the mound is where it took me. But I also grew up like playing a lot of golf too. Kind of like to feel the hands, little silky hands, and then I like to play hockey once in a while. I can't anymore, obviously, with being a professional athlete now, but once I'm done, I think I'm going to hop back on the pond and go play some puck.
Don't do anything that'll get you hurt.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
What kind of bat did you have? Were you a good hitter?
I hit pumps, but I struck out. Like it was
all or nothing?
Yeah, it was all or nothing. And I couldn't handle the failure. That's why I liked the mound better, because I felt like I had a lot more success there. When I struck out, it was like so frustrating.
It was hit pumps, all or nothing. Yeah. So if you were to get up there now, some pitchers look like they haven't touched a bat since they were a little kid. Do you feel like you could go up there and still look representative?
Oh, yeah. I definitely think so. I maybe have a lot of confidence for myself, but I like to think if I stepped in the box, I'd get a hold of one.
Yeah. It's too bad DH, man. Maybe you'd have that opportunity.
I know. Maybe one day it'll work out where we have to like pull the DH or something, and then I get to get up to the plate. I'm going to call my shot, too. I probably will swing and miss, but...
He's out there pointing to the stands.
I like that, man. You got to have a little bit of, I don't want to say arrogance, but like you have to have some confidence going in, right? Yeah. And so the fact that you saying all this, you look like a confident guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just try to, you can definitely toe the line and be a little excessive. I don't like to do that, but I like to have confidence for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you've had one start here, one on the road. Do you do anything different in terms of, I mean, this is a pitcher's park. Is it somewhere you feel like I can get a little bit more aggressive, I can go after him more, put the ball in play, because I know it's probably not going to leave the yard the way it does in other parks?
You know, that's like a common thought that I've heard, but I don't think so. I don't think that I do anything different. Like I said, just commit to myself. I know I'm a guy who uses all my pitches, and I like to think that I throw a lot of strikes. Depending on where I'm playing, it doesn't really matter. it definitely helps psychologically knowing that this is a pitcher's park, but I don't think it really affects me too much.
Logan, 2 questions. One is, has anybody noticed you yet? Like walking around Seattle, whatever? Have you had people come up to you?
Yeah, I was actually shopping yesterday on my off day, and a few of the guys who work at Nordstrom came up to me like, "When's your next start?" And I was like, "Whoa, this is kind of weird."
That's
People
cool.
know me, but yeah, it was cool.
What do you do off the field to take your mind off baseball?
I'm a big family and friends guy, so I like to hang out with family, friends, whoever's out visiting me, and then, like I said, I like to golf. I do like my shopping sprees, so I like to spend a little money for sure. But yeah, those are the main basic things I like to do.
How do you like doing the media stuff? Is this, I think it seems like it's always fun in the beginning, and then once you're in the league for a few years, you're going to be like, I got to talk to Wyman and Bob again. Oh, for the love of God, man.
I don't really mind it at all. It's just a simple conversation, but I like to enjoy it, and I like to give fans a glimpse of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing too. I think it's pretty cool what we get to do with the media.
Did Logan and Cal and everybody in there tell you how awesome we are?
No, unfortunately, they didn't. But I didn't get to talk to any of them. So when I come back and I tell them I talked to you guys,
they'll vouch for us.
Yeah, of course.
Now, are you a guy the day you pitch that, hey, don't talk to me, I got headphones on, I need to be in the zone? Or are you out there amongst your teammates? How do you handle your start days?
Yeah, I like to just be social, treat it like it's another day. When I'm doing my pre-work is when I'll throw on my headphones and listen to a little bit of music. But that's probably a 30-minute period where I'm not talking to anybody, kind of just getting myself zoned in. And then when I get out here, I don't really talk much. Obviously, just plotting what I'm going to do, mostly in the first inning, but how I'm going to approach the start. And then when I get into the dugout, I like to chat with the guys just a little bit. Nothing crazy, though.
What are you listening to on the headphones?
I'm a big rap guy, so I like my walkouts. Travis Scott. I like to listen to Travis Scott, Lil Baby, all those rappers. So yeah, I like to get in the zone for sure.
Same stuff Dave likes too.
I was going to say, the second he walked up, I was like, he looks like a rap guy.
Yeah.
No question about it.
He looks like a Lil Baby fan, right?
Hey, what's a pissed off Logan Evans look like? Like you seem like such a nice guy. But sometimes you get fiery on the field.
Yeah.
What are those moments like?
I don't outwardly show it, but I definitely will have times where I'm pretty tense and get fired up for sure. Really, when I struck out the guy in the 5th to end my outing in Miami, I gave the fist. That's kind of a lot of what I do. Nothing crazy, but that would be my emotion showing. But that's me pretty fired up. And there will be some times where I look up into the crowd, give a little wave, get it going. But yeah, I don't get fired up too often, but when I do, you'll be able to tell it.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're seeing that tomorrow. It means things are going well.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, Logan, hey, good to talk to you, man. Really appreciate you coming out here.
Thank you,
Wish
guys.
you nothing but the best.
Appreciate
and
it.
I know the fans love it. Logan Evans of your Seattle Mariners. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Logan. Absolutely.
There you go. There's Logan Evans. He'll get the start tomorrow in Game 2 of the series. Obviously, Luis Castillo gets the start tonight in Game 1. So it'll be fun to see him get his first big-time win out there, right? I mean, in a situation, Miami, I'm not saying it's not a big-time major league team. It's your first game, but this is a Toronto team that has been problematic for the Mariners. We've talked about 8 consecutive games in a row where it's been decided by 1 run. So I think it'd be a nice feather in the cap to come out here and hopefully secure a series win. I'm expecting a win tonight, and hopefully they get it done tomorrow.
Yeah, well, everybody's talking about, Vladdy and Bichette and Santander and not really, with the home runs and slug and all the extra base hits and things like that. But let's hope he don't get started here. You wouldn't think so with the pitching here and the environment. But we'll see if it's like a home game for him tonight. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think there's only one busload of Canadians here.
That's enough. That's enough. Are we ready for mean text, Lefko?
I think we need to figure out what the roof's doing right now first.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, just before. The mean text, we're like, we need to know what's happening with the roof before we could figure that out.
The roof report, the Mariners are hosting the Blue Jays tonight. The T-Mobile Park roof will most certainly be open. It's a beautiful night out. The sun is shining. It's warm out here, so it's a perfect night. The Mariners roof report is brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Let's get to the mean text. How did they do, Lefko, after you really just...
You know what? Begrudgingly, I have to give them credit. They
came
always
up
come
with some
through.
good stuff.
You know, it's like coaching. Sometimes you urge them on, and you have to be gruff, and you have to
Tough love.
Tough love, exactly. That's exactly what I was going for, Bob. So the tough love, it came through, and we got some good ones.
All right.
And they weren't all about me, which I was very appreciative of.
I thought they were
It was actually- I know.
exclusively about you.
Yeah. We'll start with Dave, though.
Of course.
208 goes, if Dave felt the need to pick his nose, he would even screw that up.
Is that from Matt?
No.
No, that Matt's more clever than that.
Matt was crafting a whole bunch before the show even started.
That was just stupid. That was dumb.
All right. Well, no more about Wyman for a second. Here we can move on.
How about this? Why does Google keep giving me mental health clinics when I try to search Wyman and Bob? What do you make of that one, Bob?
God, man.
253. All right, we'll turn to me here. 253 says, "Yo, pickleball boy, we all know why you're mysteriously taking the Friday the Rams come to town off. You're not fooling anyone, bucko."
Oh, the furry convention.
What am I, Matt?
Oh,
that really bothers me. It really bothers
Giving
me.
you a head shake right now.
This one says, can't wait for the Wyman and Bob night out at the ballpark. They are giving away Wyman pre-broken mugs and Bob extra strength hand sanitizer bottles.
That pretty much sums it up.
I like the idea of the pre-broken mug.
Yeah. There's your mug. It's broken. You could probably super glue it.
Yeah,
This happened.
it comes with a little bottle of glue.
Yeah.
We have another one along those lines. Another 208. How many Wymans does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to change the bulb, and a 2nd to clean up the previous bulb that shattered in a third's hands randomly.
That's pretty good, man.
That's all.
Wasn't my fault. I didn't do it.
It was there.
I didn't do it. Sometimes things just break.
425 says, Lefko seems like the kind of guy you'd avoid at a party, so not to get trapped in a long, boring conversation. Matt's the guy who wouldn't be invited. But he agrees with that. Yeah, that's not really a mean
Matt
text
would be
on that part.
happy.
Matt would be happy.
Adam sent us one earlier. Adam Ray said, Lefko dressed today like security at the furry convention. He was dialed wherever he's at in the country, he's listening.
206 says, Bob has the type of attitude that only Rafael Devers' mom could love.
Oh, that's good.
That's solid work. I like that one.
Yeah, why do you think the whole furry phenomenon upsets Matt so much?
I think because you're equating that with his love of Star Wars and Star Trek. To you, it's the same.
You mean like the little Yodas or whatever? What were those little furry animals called on the one Star Wars thing?
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
541. 541's actually going to turn it on the crowd here. Man, can't even be mean to you guys with Jays fans in town. Jays fans are cheeks.
Sorry, man. You seem like a nice guy, sir. What? There's only like 4 or 5 of them here. So.
He's looking over going, what? They called me what? Cheeks.
Carter from Tacoma says, Dave's brain is like Matt's internet browser. There's 19 tabs and 3 of them that you really don't want to see. Also, Lefko, stop using Firefox and leading off at that at a bar.
That was 2 different things.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
Yes, it was. The tabs open, though, I can relate to. There's no question. I have tabs open in my mind. No question about that.
Are they functioning?
Sometimes.
Okay. 253 says, when the Wyman and Bob show comes on, I turn off my hearing aid.
That's good. That is good.
That's solid work.
Well, Matt, you have a whole bunch of them for us, don't you? Come on.
You've already read 2 of them.
Okay.
Oh, really?
He's asking me what's funnier, this or that. I'm like, why are you doing? Oh, I'm sending it in to mean texts.
Somebody said the smartest business decision John Stanton ever made was refusing to come on the air with you 2.
All right, Matt, let us have it.
Maybe he just did.
That was also one of mine.
253 says, I hate that the words of a lowly board up with the personality of a mechanical pencil can get me all hot and bothered, but here we are. So bleep Lefko, bleep Bob, bleep Dave, and bleep Jared Goff.
That must be Jared Goff.
Well, Jared Goff is pretty full of himself.
Yeah.
Because he bleeps you, not himself.
No kidding.
People are trying to correct you on the furry things. They're saying Ewok.
Ewok.
Another one said Gremlins.
Yeah.
That should upset Matt.
Oh, no.
Do you believe that there's actually like a cottage industry of like people that make grown-up outfits for furries?
Why are you so obsessed with
We got
that?
a bunch of texts about that. What a group of furries is called.
They're grown people that dress up as stuffed animals. That's,
Okay, I'm going to read one of mine before we get off.
I don't think it's fascinating or anything. I just think it's like...
You've brought it up
What kind of
nonstop
person?
for the last 2 days.
What kind of person?
Freaks.
You know Dave's going to do it now, just out of curiosity.
From the 425, good thing the Cal Raleigh Little Dumper dumplings are selling well. The corn on the bob promotion was a disaster.
Corn on the bob.
Didn't take off like we had hoped.
Funny, I have another one from that 425. I don't know who's more delusional, Dave for thinking Cal Raleigh might be listening to his show on the way to the ballpark, or Lefko for thinking he can beat Ryan Rowland-Smith in pickleball.
Ooh, was that sent from Ryan, or was that a man?
It probably was sent from Ryan.
I would still say
he's working on his shot.
You probably have a better shot than Cal listening to the show.
I'd be a little worried.
I always, used to say those guys don't put like $10,000, $20,000 sound systems in their cars to listen to sports radio.
No, we sound pretty good on a system like that.
Yeah, we could.
425 says, when AI takes over for radio hosts, please make Dave the first replacement.
All right, that's enough. Are we almost
one more? Yeah, sure, we'll do one more. Linda in the 425 says, I'd send you a mean text, but then you get the impression I've been listening all week.
Oh.
I have not.
Wow, that's not bad.
So you texted in just to tell us that you're not listening.
Yeah.
All right.
The peak of meanness.
They've listened enough to know.
I think she loves us. I really do.
She's listened enough to know this is when mean text happens.
Yeah.
So she knew. All right, that does it for us. I want to thank our guests today, Ben Nicholson-Smith, Shannon Drayer, and Logan Evans for joining us on the program. If you guys missed any part of today's show, or any day for that matter, just head to the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture and click on that, and you're going to find anything you missed waiting for you right there. You get it all for free. You can just sign up for it. Very, very easy. You got the Blue Jays, you got the Mariners game 1 coming your way. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday right here with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do. Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, and they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Emerald Queen Casino Event Center presents the main event. Powered by WFC, Saturday night, June 14th. A night of professional boxing where champions are made and every punch counts. Contenders from the region go toe-to-toe, ready to prove they belong at the top. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss Fight Night, June 14th at Emerald Queen Casino, the boxing capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Hey, it's
Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle